Bell, as I was mentioning, about 4.5 for both. Really, really nice day for tech right across the board. Warner Brothers, I noticed over lunchtime, they're going to come next week with earnings. Match there as well, 5.3% in positive territory. It's actually this group, the industrials, that are leading this afternoon. And that includes some of the transportation names, Expedia, some of the airlines positive as well. AAL, Delta here, but love downside in a big way. Southwest earnings pre-market this morning missed expectations. The forecast a bit of a mess as well for love. Banks back to the upside, led by, FRC, 10% almost right now, back in positive territory. It's been pretty impressive all day long. PayPal here, 3%. GPN, AMP, JKHY, to name a few, all having a really good day. So we'll touch on a few of these. Hasbro, if you're wondering, also reported, along with Mattel as well. I mean, it feels like everything reported pre-market this morning, but Hasbro up 13.5%, selling a lot of toys, apparently. Amazon, we get after the close tonight. Etsy here, eBay as well, 4.7%. Hope your afternoon is shaping up to be as positive as the overall market, as we saw there. Better part of 2.5% kind of a day for the NASDAQ. Here we go. I can show you this to give you a better look at where we are right now. 1.5, 1.25, 2.5 for the NASDAQ there. 3% for Bitcoin, 2% for Ethereum. If you remember, yesterday was very, very positive for crypto as well. And then we gave it all back right at the end of the equity session. So hopefully that doesn't turn out to be the way it was yesterday, today as well. We'll keep an eye on that. Chips starting to bounce. We had all of tech. We'll talk about Meta here, obviously, to kick things off as we did this morning. But all of tech having a really good day. As I mentioned, Google, 4.25 right now. Tesla trying to get to 4% as well. So everywhere you look, guys, pretty green kind of afternoon.
And it is loving it. I can't get where's my chat? Okay, I didn't get rolled over automatically. If you ever don't get rolled over, just make sure you go to our page and get the link. I didn't get rolled over automatically into the closed show, so I have to get my chat back open so I can talk to you guys. But the market is booming. I just barely missed, and someone in the middle of the day, or maybe like 10 minutes ago, posted, "Don't look at AMD, Neil." I was like, "Yeah, I looked at it." No, I know. I actually still had my bid in there that I never got, but. I got one now on Amazon that we're trying to pick up, but it bounced off of my bid, which is kind of annoying here. So we looked at that 10 level. I was short 110. I told you guys I was short the 110 the whole time. It made the break, but I think the dip down in is going to make a little bit of sense here. I'll figure my chat in a quick second, but you just talked about Meta, and I never got back into it. It's just one of those. Every single day this week I've had basically more or less the same plan, and it's worked, right? Find the long that you like, take the dip buy at the open, to get it out the high or the lower high, reverse as the market stays range bound, and then rinse and repeat. And that's kind of been the way to go. And it's more or less worked out when you had the downtrend. Today is the day that you kind of broke out, right? So this was a day where if I look at my style of trade, I was probably never going to have a great day. Well, depending, Microsoft's about to take the high of the day. It was green for a brief second when Microsoft was back down at 300, but now it's going to take out that high, so I'll be down today. And we're at the top of this range. A few names look pretty decent at this high if we break through. I mean, Amazon, we just talked about, was one of them. Meta never ended up breaking that $5 range from the open. I thought we'd have a $5 range at the open. I didn't think we'd have a $5 range for the whole day on Meta. And 242 still stands as the high. I think you'll want to be playing in on any 240 dip. It's definitely reestablished that level of support. But we've seen this before. Monster gap on a stock, and then an inside day for the whole day. Where did we see this before? We saw the exact same thing with Microsoft, Sean. We saw Microsoft gap up. It was up umpteen%, and then it had an inside day. And then the following day, it made the breakout. So maybe you're waiting for a 242 break tomorrow on Meta. I'm not getting a 237 dip buy, so obviously I cancel that one. I'm not even bidding it anymore. Waste of time.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, we were long everything, and then, we didn't expect this to happen, and we got short, and we started to lose a little bit. But shout out to everybody in the chat here. People saying that it's so obvious maybe right now that the short is in. that when something seems so obvious, maybe it exactly is the opposite. So, yeah, we talked about some of those key levels on the midday show there, and where you're running into it. I mean, on the NASDAQ, we're running into it right now. If you weren't part of the midday show, then I'll just show this to you again. It's this level right there that we've been talking about, this 13,225 coming into play. Okay, Apple, I mean, that's nice. Still not moving, but this is the level that we're talking about right now. I mean, look at this move in the NASDAQ. Like what? This is a 30-minute chart. You know, generally something would be red in here, but no, we don't. We haven't been able to open in 30 minutes and close lower. So yeah, man, I mean, this is straight up to the upside right now. I don't even know the last time we've seen anything like this on a non-economic event type day. I mean, this is a big move. We have to go back to see what this day was. This is the 31st or the 1st of April coming into, or 31st of March, obviously, it looks like, right there. That started right away at 9 o'clock. That bumped up pretty huge there as well. So we're seeing it again right there. You have a little bit of a move right here. But all of these moves, you know, what goes up at some point you would think would retrace back down. So anyways, yeah, who knows? NASDAQ on a run right now. We just got out of some Apple because quite frankly, I'm not frustrated with it. I mean, it went down 10 cents. That's typically where we start to get out of some of these plays. So, you know, out of 5% of Apple, like we talked about it, we have a couple hundred shares right here. We're going to see what happens. Hopefully this can fall down and we'll make our day back if it does go down. But into here, 166.90. I mean, that's not making, none of these are making, you know, our day back completely, but we'll see what happens here. If we can get $1 on this, we'd be pretty happy for sure. That's 166.50, you know, 166.90. You know, something in here would be pretty good if we do get that retracement back down. But, you know, time will tell on this one. Hopefully we can have a little bit more behind holding this. Are we supposed to be talking about Meta, or we haven't done that yet?
I mentioned Meta.
You mentioned Meta. Okay, I'll talk about Meta just real quick here. I thought we were still talking about a recap, so that's my bad on the market here.
There's no rules around here. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, there are some rules, but yeah, generally speaking, we do whatever we want. Yeah, that is correct. But I was just thinking, like, you know, we were long early at 237, and we asked the 8-Ball and Pratt, and both said that yes, we would come back down here to 237. That could still happen. This is not, the day is still quite young, man. 2 more hours left in this market. Anything can happen, especially in the last hour. But that was a great long in Meta early, man. We love the quarter. It's part of what's happening right now. And the market being up so much, this is up 15% as well and really hasn't waned all day. Came in, just danced around. This reminds me of every single name that's pretty much reported where we had a huge move up in the pre-market, fell back down, made a base. I mean, this is what I said. I'm just going to read the sticky note word for word. Have to get long, just at what price, right? Trade it like Microsoft yesterday. Wait for a dip support and get in. So I can't do anything better than that. Here it is, ripping up in the pre-market. Here's the dip. Here's the support. Also giving us the support. Get in, rip it higher. Thank you. But then Sean decides to go short, and no thank you for that one. So far, so good here. Apple's starting to pull back a little bit now, so that's going to be a good one. Let's continue to watch Meta today. Could possibly take out that high of 242.
All right, let's talk about Mobileye here. It was basically the complete opposite when it comes to earnings for MBLY. Downside still. Really hasn't been much of a bounce. I mean, 30, I guess, ends up being the bottom down there right out of the gate this morning. We are kind of grinding, but pre-market levels not even touched so far today on MBLY.
Yeah, I didn't touch this too much during the midday, Brendo, but yeah, it's in top end of the range, to be fair. It got as low as at 32.50. Now retracing back closer to 35. So we'll see what this one brings in the afternoon.
Yeah, still pretty negative here, guys. There was a little bit of a volume spike there as we got back above 34, but not much follow through for Mobileye today.
Well, yeah, not really. I guess maybe it was down too far. There was one, this is the thing. I actually had this conversation with Prad, believe it or not. And the conversation was, if a stock is illiquid, sometimes it's not going to be much more liquidity after the open than it is in the pre-market. And I took the Mobileye short off at 34 into like 35. I waited for the market to open to take it and look at the distinct difference. It wasn't much more liquid. So I had to get, it was tricky to get in, and I had to kind of hold it against me. It rolled over when I tried to add to it on the way back down. I couldn't get it. It was just rapid fire filling 33 and 32. I rolled into 34. This is when it calmed down. And this is, look, obviously, there's not many shorts that actually work today. You guys know that. So, this is one of the ones that did for me. However, if I had actually had this at the same time in the pre-market, obviously it's hindsight, but the bigger move was then. And that was maybe the better entry. I wasn't willing to take it at 920, and maybe I've learned something there. This is a stock that was never going to do a ton of volume, and it didn't do a ton of volume here either. So it ended up being solid. On the higher time frame, I've been waiting for the stock to break down and do this. I didn't get a stink bid in there to get filled today. However, if we actually hang out beneath 35, I suspect I'll probably throw a bid in the long term somewhere around 30, 31, something like that. On the flip side of Mobileye, which did work, it's a foregone conclusion, right? On a day like today, my number one down stock should be Intel. It should be, because that's the one stock that I short every single day the most. And that, therefore, that's the one that works. And if I'm going to have a bad day, it should be on Intel. Intel just broke the high of the day. I was shorted early. I had some success. I reloaded. I had mixed success. I stopped out a couple of times. I reloaded. And then again, it started to be good. But if you know my style, I'm generally doing this, but I'm still holding half of it. Like when it makes that pullback and it goes like 15, 20 pennies, I'm really holding the other half. Or even, actually this case, it was more than that. I was holding about 30, I think I got it about 30%, I had like 70% still on for the bigger move to the downside. That's what works. And when it works, you get that. However, I adhere to my stops every single time I get an entry. So I'll be down on this one today. It was tough. Even when things set up, there was no follow through. And that's the tricky part about it. Like it respected the levels and I was able to work back in, but it didn't matter. Ends up being an uptrend. And I said this and didn't listen to myself that 29 was the 50 period and you could be bouncing off this level. I didn't respect that nearly enough to even look for a long today on Intel. It is what it is. It's going to happen to you. I had a bias in that stock. And it got me today. And I think I have to come into tomorrow. It was a horrible quarter last time, and it still went up. So I'm not going to come in with any bias on direction. We'll just try to play off the levels and the trend.
Yeah, I don't have any Mobileye today. I think it's always difficult to trade names off earnings, but yeah, figure out your bias and just go from there. I think that's always the best way to deal with all of that stuff. So Neil talked about it. I do like Intel. I think Intel should have an interesting quarter. We will be trading that tomorrow, so we'll wait for that as it comes through. I'm just really just focused on Apple. Hopefully this can make its move down. We've gotten out of 10%. 15%. Hopefully this can come into the 90s. That's my next little look. We do have a bid at 167 flat here, or close enough to flat anyways. Actually, we don't. I'm going to put a bid there for 10%. Hopefully this can come back down, and then we'll get a fill. And we'll watch to see what Apple wants to do here as we make the short in there off some of those key levels. Let's see if it will work out for Apple. But the next one's Amazon. That was a big trade for me today. So let's go over to the desk and talk about that with the guys.
Yeah. We were just discussing Amazon projections here, going back the past couple of quarters. Revenue is just insane. Like Q1 2022 is 116.4 billion revenue. Here's Amazon, 5.25% going into earnings. Remember, they report tonight.
Yeah. And there is an implied volatility of plus or minus 8.18%. There was unusual call buying this morning, 1.15 times more calls than puts. Looks like there was a buyer at that of 8,000 contracts at that 115 June calls, Brendo. So we'll see what the aftermarket brings for this one.
Yeah, just seeing that last spike up there, I guess was maybe the last earnings quarter, going back to February, end of January, beginning of February maybe, all the way up through 115 there for Amazon. Pretty impressive today into earnings, guys.
I'll let you go first. I want to get this.
Okay, no problem.
I'll get the super chat after.
Yeah, we love Amazon. I've loved Amazon from a long time, man. I mean, Amazon's right on here, right on the sticky note. Long 106, long 109. And we have both those trades. So right here on Amazon today, look at this. We have the bottom wick on Amazon right now. So that was a good one, man. We waited for the move again to happen on Amazon. Down here to 945. Get that fill. We have some fills down here. First fill at 107. Next fill on that there. I mean, I cannot believe we have a 106.83. Or 85, sorry, in our account today. The bottom of Amazon is Okay, it doesn't say, it says 104, that's wrong. But anyways, okay, so right there, it's taking this stupid wick that didn't happen into consideration, but we have the bottom of the day on Amazon almost to the penny. There it is, man, well taken to the upside. These are all 108 outs, so these ones are 108 outs, these ones are 107.80 outs, so that's $1 right there. Our last piece we get out at 108.60, just sort of back into where the pre-market was. Why did we get out there? Well, we only got out of the last little piece, right? Probably about 10%, which is pretty typical for what I have. And then there it is right here. And again, remember, in the morning, you know, when they settle down, this is kind of when you want to make the plays, which is why I was upset about Microsoft, and we'll probably get to that at some point today. But right there it is, nice little break of that 109. And again, Sticky Note Nation is on here. We get out, 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 out. Each one of these is probably the same. And then right there, out a little bit when we take the 50 period, then out again at that top of 109.60. Now, since then, it has drifted higher, still continues to go up. Again, like if this 8-ball actually predicted things, I would have asked it if I should have held it, but all the way up there to 111, wow. I mean, what is Amazon gonna do? We got some good reports from the cloud the last couple of days. We saw Google with a good cloud number, same as Azure with Microsoft. So if those are the two biggest players, well, guess who's coming back tonight? Amazon with AWS. We'll find out what's going on with those guys. Obviously, that's a big part of their business as well. I do think that retail, although we've gotten some bad retail numbers, I still feel like Amazon's been working. I don't know. Would it be here? Whoops. Would it be where we are right now if it wasn't working? I mean, Amazon right off the 50 period, right back down here to 101, 102. I'm not going to make a call on earnings, but if you look over the last couple of days, every single big cap tech name that's reported, besides Tesla, is up right now. I mean, Netflix, sure, they whooshed down, but they settled. Actually, Netflix is sort of where they were at before the earnings, right, or at the earnings. Everyone else seems to be up these last couple days. I don't see a difference here for Amazon. Over to you for whatever that super chat was that I missed.
It was why Lenny, just for a second here, and I want to get to it. And I know sometimes we don't talk about these like random penny stocks, but you sent a super chat. I'm assuming you're saying you're 14 years old. Because it says, hey guys, please look at EVLO for long. I am 14 years. Maybe you're 14 years old. Hey, when you're 14, maybe you look at penny stocks. I think the first stock I invested, I don't even remember the name of it, but short term was some rando penny stock that I just tried to YOLO. And the biggest mistake I made was when the catalyst hit and I saw it going up, like it doubled or tripled on some random release. I thought it was going to go 10x. And I sold absolutely nothing. And then I came in the next day, and I think I lost like 15% on it, selling it the next day. So when you do those types of plays, when you have a chance to take profit, at least get enough so that you're playing with house money would be like my first thing when you're looking at it. It did make a bounce, and it's not doing a ton of volume relative to something like Zila or one of those other penny stocks, but 160 million in today. And that's on a drop beneath resistance, maybe trap some people, and then a breakout. So it's got a shot, maybe. I don't know anything about the company. Usually these things jump for a couple of days in a row and then come back down. When in doubt, make sure you pay yourself out. These are basically coin flip type gambles. And there's trades there sometimes. It's just, it's down here for a reason. That's how it is. Amazon, I like the 110. I like the 110 level. I was short at 110. I was actually short off the 109.5. I told you guys that, and I got it down to 109, and then I reloaded. That sucked, and then 110 was no good. 110 is like that pivot point. It's putting in a lower high right now, but if it's going to carry through, I think it's got a shot off of this. Now, we've seen these moves at the close on stocks that have earnings. Sometimes you get a pretty wide range in the close. Other times you get a consolidation and absolutely nothing. I'm not here to predict what that's going to be. I just know that 110 is kind of a good zone to play off of. There's room above it still to go. And as long as it holds, this market's 2.5%, and nothing's really slowed it down at this point. There's very few names that still look like they could be weak. I grit my teeth, and this is one of those days. I see Coinbase at a triple top. It's like, man, why does a short have to set up on Coinbase? That's probably a trap.
Disappointing. Let's talk about some chips here. Semiconductors have been, pretty active so far today. We're just sitting here discussing the fact that Intel's relatively strong going into earnings here. It's a rare day when you can say that, but 2.25%. Just took out the highs again on a nice little push once again ahead of their report. Really no significant news in this group today, but it was one of those things. We got STM earnings, we got ASML earlier on in the reporting season, but back to the upside for pretty much all of these right now.
Yeah, we had muted earnings today from semiconductors, SMT, and Pi coming out today to the low side. But look at this. Come to my screen. Intel is expected to report its largest ever quarterly loss today on Thursday, driven by sharp fall in PC sales. Sales are expected to fall to levels not seen since 2010, Brendo. So are expectations that low that where it may be? So let's see.
Right back to yesterday's high currently, guys, for Intel, as we are just over 90 minutes away from earnings.
Yeah, well, I went on a little bit of a rant the last time. The last earnings they had, I distinctly remember being like, this is the worst quarter possible from a number standpoint. And it wasn't very good. And that was actually, it's been true for 2 quarters in a row. So, and it went up last time. It was actually an upward trend that day. Today, it's a bit different. Like, we're strong into it. I don't know if that matters. Of course, it's like, this is what happens on a day like today. You're pretty much at yesterday's level. This was obviously a pretty good stock when I was short yesterday. You can see today, no, not so much. And I do feel the notion that even if it is ridiculously bad, that does not necessarily mean Intel's going to come down, because so much has been priced in against the chips, and the chips have been kind of dogs for a while now. If you look at what's happened, it's been grinding down into earnings and is bouncing off some support here. That's what's happening on the daily chart. So there's all the reason in the world when you have that kind of selling into it that you could have a bounce even on mixed numbers. And people like, the market's forward thinking. And if they think the worst is in for this chip name, then so be it. You know, it might just be a long off 29. I'm willing to accept it, as I just got out of, Microsoft just took the high of the day, by the way, so I'm now flat. I have no positions on. And Intel up 2%. You know, it's so much easier. Like, if I never traded it the last week and only looked at where it was bouncing and said, okay, if you're going to sit out the first half an hour and then make a call, and that's a 50 period, and I say this, at 10, they come back at about 10 o'clock and go to what you see, and that looks to me like it's made a bottom, a couple of wicks underneath, it's got a consolidation level, and then it breaks out at 29. So it's fine to have been short here. Like, that was fine. It's just, you know, like, that's probably a bit of a breakout there. You know, you got to be able to accept that sometimes. So I'll take the L for that. Didn't really sniff out that long despite it being right in front of my face.
Okay, yeah, so chips to trade. Yeah, so right now, we went short AMD and got out of that really quick. But I'm looking at this NVIDIA level right here, and I see what you're saying, Adam, to lose there in the chat. You said that, did you just get out of something? Because you said both of us were both short something. There.
Oh, Microsoft just took the higher day.
That's what it was. Okay,
it might have wicked me out, but okay. Today is a day that you got to accept getting wicked out. Like, if I get wicked out at the high of the day today, I got to be okay with that, man.
Well, it's literally the high of the day. I mean, that's what, most of the time the high of the days will do something like that. So, yeah, I mean, I've got out of a bunch of stuff like that, too. Hopefully, we're not out of Apple if that does happen, but we are getting ready to get out of Apple. If Apple takes out 167.50, the high of the day has been 45, so we're going to give it a little bit more than that. But see, again, we only got, this is what I'm saying, like, you're going to look at this and say, oh, well, you got out, so that's okay, but no, I didn't. I only got out of, like, 15%. So, like, when we lose again on this, it's going to be a problem. And I'm going to reload this at 40, and then watch out to see if it takes out 50, and then get out of that. So, yeah, this is what it is right now. So, okay, back over to NVIDIA. So AMD, man, again, we like the short early against 86, 87. We had a nice move up there. We took it, not really too interested in that. It was just that level right there, 86.30. So we started a little bit at 86, then we got some 86.20s, then we got out at 86. So this is about a 20-cent hit or so for AMD. So we move off of that as if it didn't even happen. That's not a big fill for me at all right there. But let's move on to another trade that's about to happen. Because you know what? We can sit here. This is the rundown. So what we're doing is sort of going over trades that we've seen, that we've made, that we've missed or have. So it's just stuff like that. But right now, I'm going to give you a trade that I think I'm going to take, and that's a 270 break. So if you break below this 270 right here, although we have only dipped down to 269.70, I just wonder about some momentum back down. Like, we have this 271 right here. Let's see what happens for the rest of this day. But if you go to the 3-minute chart, this 270 is right where the 200 period is and where the 50 period is. So these two sort of converging right now. It's not like a death cross or anything like that, but VWAP is down here at 269. So I just think if you take 270, I mean, if you really want to be specific, you know, 269.75, something like that. But I'm kind of willing to hold this back, you know, close enough to $1, something in that range here to see if it goes. I'm actually debating right now taking the short instead of 270. Thing is I'm already short Apple, which isn't going great. Although Apple just went down and then right back up again, like as if, man. So we'll wait to see. But yeah, that NVIDIA trade, I think that could be a good one if we go back down in through 270. Maybe a small little short now against 271, actually. I think I'm going to put that on.
Okay, never mind. I thought we were
Back to Neil.
That's my bad. I thought we were done the rundown. Because I actually like block a little bit better. I'm just picking on something that's weak. It's hard to put on longs at the high of the day up 2.5%. As a day trader, it really is. This is beneath resistance. It double wicked 61, so that's an actual setup for me. I was about to punch short coin, and then I thought a little bit better of it. Square it's set up much better here on the 15-minute. I didn't realize we were done the rundown, or not done the rundown. So let's kick it back to the desk in a second. But I am now in Square. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, I think it's like you were just showing NVIDIA, right? Like, is NVIDIA at the high of the day when the market's at the high of the day? No. Is it anywhere near its resistance from yesterday? What is it like? It's relatively weak. It gives you a setup that tells you it's not just churning into the top.
Yeah, I mean, NVIDIA's up 0.4.
Right. Square's up literally 0.4 as well.
Is, yeah.
They're both 0.4. The NASDAQ's 2.5.
Frustrating day continues, in my opinion, when you're looking at it like that, and that's what we've been looking at it like. So, yeah, more Apple right there, and more NVIDIA short for me. And if NVIDIA takes out 271, then we will. This is why sometimes waiting for that 270 break is probably what you should do. But yeah, someone said in the chat, like, stop shorting things, and you're 100% like. 100% right. Just as a day trader, man, when you're at some of these levels, and we are going to go back to Brendan in a minute, just talk about FRC, but I just want to explain why I'm short again. Like, there's this level, we're trying to take it out right now, but there's this level of 25. You know, it hit there, it's hit here again, and it's hitting right now. It actually just hit right now. So, you know, let's see. I think we just hit it. We might have just hit that level on the NASDAQ. Well, let me see if I can zoom in on this chart a little bit better. Yeah, right there. So we just hit it and retraced back down. So here it is. Now we're really starting to blast up. So I'm going to get stopped out of everything in about a couple seconds here as the market gets blasted up. So NVIDIA, we did just get stopped out of that. But to me, honestly, that's 30 cents worth of a hit. That's not even the question for me right now. It's this guy here as we took some more shares of Apple. And looks like Apple's taking out the day's high as well. So yeah, you guys are right, man. The shorts, you know, just take the long. But now do you want to go long once you break that level?
You know
like
what?
This is.
I found one that it's worth.
I thought I found. Yeah. Hopefully you're going to be right.
So I didn't have my. I didn't have this chart up when I was at the midday show, and this is my BTC chart. I'm sorry. No, we're going back to the desk.
See what happens when you throw it back here, Brendan?
If you throw it back to us, it's never getting back to you.
At least we turned this guy into a bull early. It's just, but who cares?
Anyways, Bitcoin breaking out on the 15-minute. Coin was breaking out that top. So this, because I looked over coin, I'm like, ooh, coin is setting up for a short, blah, blah, blah. And then I went over and like, you should always check Bitcoin. And then I see this breaking out, and then this is my black chart, and I saw that, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, this is probably worth, like from a risk to reward standpoint, the same way Square risk to reward actually does set up for a short, I don't mind it, this does actually set up for a long. What am I looking at? I'm looking at hardline support, 53.5 to 54, that we're bouncing from the last couple of days, a nice little bottom channel, and plenty of room to the upside. When I sat down today, I was like, I'm shorting coin at 58. Well, it's showing you a 55 half top. If the market continues to go 3% and Bitcoin gets to 30,000, this can give me $1. So I'm in this one, and now let's go back to you guys at the desk. Sorry.
Hey, all good. We're just sitting here learning.
Yeah,
I
was listening.
FRC was bottom of the board this morning on the watch list once again, simply because of what happened over the past few days. 3 in a row, just getting absolutely woodshedded on the way back to $5, if you can believe that. It's amazing. I was just saying, if you zoom out on this chart a little bit, this is 11%, and it's still essentially an inside day for FRC. But hey, positive is positive here as we try to get back to the upside.
FRCQ question mark? I don't know, guys. We may be coming to the end of the life of this company. Let's see. Not making any pronouncements, obviously, but maybe some shorts getting squeezed today, Brendo.
Yeah, to be continued, obviously, on the possible OTC symbols to come next week.
I was wondering.
I'm Bed Bath & Beyond already May 2nd or May 3rd. There goes
May
Apple.
3rd.
Apple
May
just
3rd.
went up, yeah.
So, you know what? It's weird. Like this was one where it actually worked today, but it required like an absolute crap ton of patience. And even then, I could have just taken the break long.
Wow.
So it's like you could have just been long here as it broke $6 into the up halt. It caught a second up halt. Once it's halted up twice, I'm only looking for one thing. That's going to be every single time. That's how it is. I was looking for the next short zone. I said all morning, wait for it to break 650 and get into the afternoon level that we shorted. Obviously, you're not going to get down to $5 like we did yesterday, but it was one in. It broke 650 on the upside. The second it started rejecting 680, which was that same price, it really couldn't get past. Get past in the afternoon yesterday. I actually added to the position because it wasn't making a run to 7. I got out to VWAP. Sometimes it looks like that, and you're like, yeah, that's fantastic. But if that was the only stock I shorted today, and Mobileye, which is weird, the first two things I shorted was this and Mobileye, and I was patient to do it. And if I just left it at that, then everything would have been fine, but I didn't, and that's how it is. And if anything, it was a long off 6. So it was a long off 5 yesterday. It was a long off 6 today, and if you look, you have to have a stop if you're trading this because it could hwadunk on any kind of a headline and be at $3 then the pink sheets the next day. That's true, but I think you want to give it a chance. If you have a stop underneath under this and it's got a big level, it is not that bad for a day trade. The 5 long was bonkers yesterday. It was as good as the short was. The 5 long was absurd. So, you know, I'll probably take a shot at some point when I see a big level next time, just risking 5 or 10 cents plus slippage. I don't think it's going to be this afternoon because it's not moving. So I'm in coin long, I'm in block short, and let's see what happens. The market wants 3% today. I got to have something long.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I just typed block into my level 2 instead of
ain't
square.
No doubt about that. You typed in block, yeah.
No, because
funny.
I'm saying block.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And I went to flip to
I've
square.
Done that before.
The mind works in mysterious ways sometimes.
It does. Okay, I'm going to try again. So I'm just looking at this. You know, if the market's going to do this, like you got to be a little more patient than what I'm doing right now. Apple, forget about it. I'm just going to go to a weak name again, NVIDIA. We got out too early there on that 271 break, so we're back short right now, 271 again. Again, we didn't take much of a hit there, so I feel like this could be the right name to go short now. I know it's stupid. Like we're looking here and we're just going short over and over and over again. But I'd really like to see a complete break, man, of that NASDAQ level. We're not getting it. But you saw there for Apple, again, you know, short, out a little bit, added to it, out at 50. Then look how easy the long is again. Like if you just use like, okay, this is my out. This is the high of the day. It's my out. I mean, it's like just if you just wait for it to break, then you get the instant, like it's just instant on days like this. So whatever. Again, you know, we're learning. We're going to get this all figured out. And it sucks to keep saying that. But honestly, Microsoft at 304 right now. We had so many of these longs earlier on. Meta 52-week high. Starbucks 52-week high. Microsoft. I mean, it goes on and on. There's probably so many more here that are going on the 52-week highs that we see. Mullen 52-week low. Someone said that they'd put $1 million into Mullen if they had a chance to. But UK, like I'm going to take NVIDIA here, and the catalyst behind this is shit and Intel earnings. Like, you know, if Intel disappoints tomorrow, will NVIDIA be up? Will NVIDIA be up tomorrow? Let's just see. Let's see if that can work. So we're going to wait for that. Here, like Apple's just blasting. Like Apple's blasting right now. So this is what I mean. Look at NVIDIA trying to go to the downside and not blasting up. And Apple is like, yeah, man, 70, 71. We'll take it. We'll take it. And again, looking at my own sticky note here, Apple is a long. And I explained that why at 166. Yeah, it was at 166 today. So it's nice to see it at 168. Amazon's a long at 106, 109. Yep, that's true. Meta's also a long at 230 and change. Yep. And then AMD is the only one that's left not to hit. So when I look at that, you know, maybe we are somewhat in the right area now by shorting NVIDIA. So here we go. NVIDIA looks like it wants to continue its little march down here. So let's see if it can get into a bigger march and take out this 270.
So it's hilarious because you were showing that chart. I'm going to show one in a second, but I have to get to this AMZN, which I actually realized I had left. I had taken a reverse or wanted to take a reverse position that I never got, and I kind of left that bid out in front of 110 to give it to like to 109.80. But I actually have a short that worked just now, but I'm going to get my stop order in there. I just want to make sure I don't hold this path because that looks like a reversal. I mean, I don't mind it, but that's not as strong a move, obviously, as Coinbase is going to the upside and breaking out. I did want to get back over to, I almost typed block again, so that's what's on my head, in my mind. I just got Square short, and this is the first, probably the first time all afternoon or pretty much all day that wasn't like the first 10 minutes that I got into a short on a consolidation and it instantly worked to the next level. So block, this will be the one for me. If I reload something short, it's going to be this. If I hold something to VWAP, it's going to be this. It makes a lot of sense the way it's going to the downside. But I had to point this out because when you showed Apple, I pulled up my Intel chart. Every time I was covering shorts, it was like a God mode long. Yeah. God mode long, God mode long, God mode long. And then I get stopped out for my last trade, and it's like explosion to the upside. It just, like the biggest moves of the day or when that's happening, and it makes sense sometimes that that's the way it's going to go. Coin is in the midst of, oh, there we go, thank you, chart. So Coin is trying to take out that high. Thankfully, like if you look at the 3-minute chart, okay, it really looks like a short on this level. However, I do respect the fact that Bitcoin was making that move. I keep looking up and to my right. That means I want to make sure I want to capture that trend or at least be sticking with the trend. If there's a big reversal in BTC, then as far as I'm concerned, coin should always be a heck of a lot worse than that. And we're up at that 30,000 mark. So if we don't break 30,000, this is no good. If we do, this is going to fly. Amazon's probably going to come out at 99.80, sorry, at 109.80 and we'll be done. But that's not the short I want. Square is working easy. Oh, you know what? Amazon just reversed on my other one.
No,
I'm getting out now.
What position are you in Amazon? Long. I just went short.
I'm out.
I'm actually short against that level that you just had, 110.
I just saw it break. I just looked at my black chart, and I'm like, I don't know what I saw on this chart.
I'm really starting to get pissed off.
But that chart, I'm like, that looks way more like a short. So I'm just getting out of that one.
Now the market's pulling back off that level. And of course, I'm in NVIDIA, and it's not moving. So like, again, Apple, like see the NASDAQ here pulling back? You see Apple pulling back? Apple can't pull back when I'm in it, of course. But right there when I'm not, it has no problem pulling back. So, all right, like I said, this is the thing. When you're trading like we are and you have to be flat at the end of every single day, that's not excuses for being short. You know, we should probably not be short. That's fine. But at the same time, it's what you're trying to do is manage the risk and the reward, the ratios that you have. You know, and you're going to be wrong and you're going to get blown out. That's why when I lost on that Apple trade, it was 14 cents, something like that, with the potential. I was only taking profits, right? I took 30 cents profit on that trade. So I had 2 to 1, but I just thought that we could have dropped off a little bit more. So that's the whole point of what we're trying to do here. I just think that Amazon right there, and again, sorry about some of these stupid wicks. I mean, I can edit that right there, but you see, like you took 110, so I'm going to go short against 110 now with the chance that we go a little bit lower here. I'm going to try to edit that out, 215. So if you are part of our platform here, this is, I said this to Sharif on the midday show, and it's just a fact, is that when you log out and back in, all of a sudden, all the dark, and we got to fix this. I'm going to have to pound the table again to the people that are responsible for this, because, you know, like once you log out and back in, see how easy that is and like how much cleaner and realistic the chart looks now? Here it is. So now we're starting to push down. So what I'm getting at is that I can't remember. So that's interesting. But the point about it is at some point your risk to reward is going to have to be greater than sort of the positions that you put on. And what I mean by that is like you got to take a little bit of risk, because if we think that this market has sort of seen a top right there, well then this breaking through 110, this is worth the risk. And whoa, I know what I was getting at. Apple, although see now it's right back up, like we were short at 40 or 35s. So when we're taking these out at 15s right there, that's 20 cents with our risk was only 15 cents right there. So we could have had more out there, but we were thinking that the market was due for a pullback down. So when that doesn't happen, yeah, you do look a little bit silly. And but you know, we're here to take those trades back and forth. There it is. So now Nvidia's finally starting to go down a little bit there. We just took a little bit more short. That's because we had a breakdown of this level right there of 60. So there we go. We're into a short. I just put a piece out because I actually had the short and I had a bid at that level, which you're allowed to do because I'm allowed to run into myself as long as one happens first and the other happens later. It's not self-trading. But here we go. Let's go. Let's hit that freaking alarm right now because now we're back into the money a little bit on some of these names. Amazon going to the downside, as is Nvidia right now. So I will ring a little bit of register on here and go over to Brendo, see what he's up to.
Just watching Meta here, guys. Not much of a reaction off of this, but they're just coming out saying that their ads business and business messaging portions will merge into one new division for Meta.
Yeah,
so
go ahead. Yeah.
I jumped into Tesla, and someone just said they think Tesla's going to 156. I think 157 and 158 makes more sense. But here's the first things first. Look at the NASDAQ, and if I'm being real, like every single time it gets to this level, I'm like, if something sets up for a short when we get into a range like this, that's where I'm working in. And when it goes to, I'm working into something it sets up. And when it gets here, I'm working into something it sets up. And if that's what works, 8 times out of 10, or 6.5 times out of 10, or 7 times out of 10, that's what you should do. So I'm going to do that. If we're not breaking 30,000, why am I forcing a coin long trade? I'm going to get out of that. Got to do what you got to do. And at the end of the day, like I took out that Amazon because, quite frankly, no. I think right now Apple looks like it's the one that's continuing the most, so it's holding the market up. I know I'm gonna work back into Square. It goes up a couple more shekels, and I'm gonna get on the offer in front of 61 even. But you're gonna up down 160 on Tesla as the market's at resistance. I'm gonna take it. I don't think it's going to 156. I don't like it. That doesn't make any sense to me, but that's a setup that I like. And in the wick high, 160, back into 159 change. I mean, it's like the quarter mark that you're looking at in front of. And if it busts that, I think we get 58 or something like that. But yes, I relink up. A lot of mercy. $10 super chat. Apple is the one holding the market up.
Screw you, Apple.
It's ripping to the upside. I mean, we're happy in our long-term accounts, which is what matters. No, I'm just kidding.
Screw the long-term account.
No, like obviously Apple is. I got these wicks too on Apple. Same thing happened to me as happened to you. Obviously, you know that. But it's still strong. It's still strong to the upside. It's actually lagging the NASDAQ a little bit percentage-wise, but it's catching up. Now Apple is at top. When you look at the daily chart, my 15 going to show it nicely? Yeah, it is. So it's at resistance as well. It just hasn't shown too many signs slowing. It just broke the high. You just saw Amazon break the high and come back and reject it. You just saw Tesla break the high and reject it and come back. Apple broke the high and is kind of still going right now. So it is at resistance. It's just presenting a little bit stronger than some of the other names. So I'll stick with these two. Got to go back to the grain. I just rinsed and repeated Square getting in. If I can get more out in the 60s, I'll go ahead and do that. But I'll rinse and repeat this. Like, that's a setup I like. You got wick tops above 61. I have yet to get any fills over 61. It's just giving you the under. I'll scalp out in the range. We'll hold on to the rest and kind of go back to business. Like, this is what I like to do. Play the ones that make sense for a setup and just keep it at that. Try not to get too cute, outthinking the market, and just play a setup that makes sense to you. That's what trading should be about anyways.
Always, literally always. You know, play the setups, do that, and everything will be Irie. So, okay. Whoosh.
I need a rum punch all of a sudden.
Right? Okay, we can make that happen.
By the way, I make a really good rum punch. I stole it from my cousin. He had like the craziest recipe. You're on the
Family
beach.
recipes are the best.
It's his name's Junior, by the way, but he's my generation. It's not like one of my uncles or something. It's lit. Like, you drink this, and you think you're on the beach, and you're like, this is cool. I'm just drinking fruit
There's more rum than punch.
Oh my goodness, is there ever more rum than punch?
That gives
and
you're
on your ass, man. That's all I'm saying. It's legit.
It's legit. So don't drink that just for having a good time. Drink that if you want to up.
When we won a championship in my men's league baseball, I made some for our party. Afterwards, those guys didn't know what hit them. It was fun. Anyways, that's another story. It doesn't matter.
Dark rum, I'm assuming, because from the islands? Or is it
so here's the thing. It's a mixture. So a lot of times you think you only use a dark rum.
It's like a
but it's like 2/3. You can use any dark rum, and then 1/3 is Little Rain nephew.
Okay,
At 151.
Okay, yeah, you got to get that 151
Rain nephew is
proof.
legit.
All right, yeah, everything's sugar-based, of course. Rum
it's sweet
punch,
as hell.
yeah, you're not having that if you're counting calories, of course, but you know it's irrelevant at this point. Okay, so look, this is the frustrating part again because again, look, taking profit, man, we made some decent coin back there. We made back about like 20% of our day right there, just on these moves. But then the moves didn't continue. So we are a little bit out now, and we did get a reload on Amazon. And Amazon right there doesn't look like it wants to go down anymore, to be honest with you. Look how aggressive this name is now back up to the top side of this. But you can see the NASDAQ is not wanting to really break. So we're at the 50, okay. We're right at the 50 period now, and it's just ridiculous. Like this is a 1 minute chart. So, you know, when you zoom back out, and if I change this to a 3 minute, obviously, you know, it's gonna look a lot different. You're gonna be like, ah, man, we're not at a short level yet, and you're probably right. But that 13.2 right here, that's what I want to break, right here, 13.2. But it all starts with it breaking right now. So we got to break a little bit lower than this, and it's holding the 50 period. This is why, like those of you that are like, oh, okay, you know, this guy's insane, you're half right, but it's just like, look at this 50 period. Look at this 50 period. Who trades off of a 1 minute chart here? Like, look, look, not breaking, not breaking, not breaking, not breaking the whole way, still not breaking. So yeah, you could have been long just watching the 50 period. But you would probably be thinking about getting out right now, having nervous hands, if that's the case. This is the first time all day. We might have had a little bit of a take right there at 12 o'clock, but that, you know, still didn't cross. No man can cross it. So right there, 12, 13, 200. Let's see if it breaks. That's right here. So that's what has to go through, right? We did the bigger scale. That's what it looks like. So let's see if we can't do some damage right there on a cross of 13,200. At that point, man, then we'll be really laughing about the net. Hopefully we can do that and not cry laugh about it. So hopefully come back in, man. We're on the bid right now at 6.8er. Yarmer Yager right there. Hopefully we can get that fill coming through.
Legend.
As we give best of luck to our Toronto Maple Leafs.
Don't need it.
Who don't need it. Wow, Neil. I think the Maple Leafs need a hell of a lot of luck today because we got to get that monkey off our damn back. And if that can happen today, then watch out Boston Bruins, who lost to the Florida Panthers last night.
I feel just as confident about the win tonight as I did my Buffalo Bills going up against Joe Burrow.
Why did you have to say that? Now we're going to lose.
But I'm one of those like every single
What's
year.
up with like Southern Ontario?
You know, but if
New York?
you ask me that, I'm always gonna say the same thing. Like I'm a homer for the teams that I follow. I'm way more objective when it comes to the teams that I'm not a fan of. Like I can be really objective about any football team you want, or any hockey team, or basketball team, or baseball. It's just when it comes to my team, it is what it is, man.
You're
like
a homer.
It's the one place you should be a homer. When you're trading, you shouldn't be a homer about the stocks in your portfolio. You should trade what's in front of you, right? Like that's the worst thing you can do. But when you're a sports fan, you know, that's why I try not to bet on sports, because I just find myself laying on the Bills every single week, and that's how I would roll, and that you could have frustration that way. So I've reloaded Square. Tesla's not giving me a reload just yet, and I think there's an opportunity here. This one, like this is run out of steam. Like now 4 candles in a row, my 3-minute chart, which does line up pretty nicely. You have the wick top. It's rejected the high here. It did this, the last time it did this was at 58.57. Square, I think, is in a short zone that I can still add to, and I think there's going to be an opportunity. I do want to go back over to tops just because I don't want to ignore it. I bet under, by the way, which to me, you're flipping a coin of under 19. Only reason I'm bringing this up is because despite being up 140%, it is now dipping. So it's 250. It's probably free money-ish. Usually the way it works, once it runs too far away from the price when we have the points bet, I will take the bet off. We'll put it back on if it gets back above like 18, so it's reasonable. But I mean, this stock just quadrupled like $4. At this point, the bet should probably come up.
$4.
Which isn't even to $3. It's not even that much in the grand scheme of things, but
still
the over-under is 19. And it's at $16 here, and running out of steam on volume. So you have a couple of seconds until I can pull it up in the browser and close it off. Bets should have been made already, but you get some free money till I hit the key.
Yeah, no, Mahad, literally whenever. Literally whenever. You know, we're not on script here. You're going to hear something, or something's going to happen pretty soon. Get that 25 cents out if you know what I'm saying.
Yo.
Yes, Mahad. This is what I needed. Okay, so as NVIDIA's dancing around here, as Apple's trying to figure itself out, you got to pay the man behind us. This Prad, this is what he's doing, man. This is his beat. It should be.
Drop the beat.
The price should be going down realistically.
Drop it. If you're just tuning in, it doesn't drop.
Wait till you hear the drop on this. It's insane.
There actually isn't a drop.
Okay, now where's the beat coming? Where is it? Where is it now? Duh. No,
There it is.
that's it. Okay, so thank you so much for that.
It is dope.
No. Mahad, I wanted it a little bit, but let's not.
You know it's set up for something sick. It's just, you know, once you get something more there, it gets you.
I know what should. Someone just said it in the chat.
And it just doesn't finish, man. It just doesn't.
What are we thinking? We
How-
have French Montana works for us. You know, the
Faytana.
You know,
Faytana.
He can't rhyme on that? You know?
Faytana can do anything he wants.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe we'll have to give Fahad a shout. He can rhyme on it. Then you don't need any bass because you know Fahad will just bring the heat.
He doesn't need that.
And
he's like fisticuffs. Just turn my headphones up.
Yep. See, Michael Lloyd, I don't know if you're just joining us for the first time. He says, great loop, but no drop, kick, or bass. And exactly.
That's kind of the joke.
That's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
Is
that Prad made it, and he never finished it, so there isn't a drop?
He has another crazy-ass one that is nuts. I don't even know what that
one
is.
Well, I don't know what you call that.
I call it hot fire.
Busy.
That's right. I'm calling all of these things hot fire. Prad said he's putting up the price though from 7 cents to 17 cents per time. I mean, what is this guy?
No,
this
you
guy,
can't. That's not how.
Who is he? Runs
Spotify
how
pricing
or
works.
something over there?
You can't change the price after the fact. This is your 10. And you know the funny thing is, I gave you 25 cents yesterday, so you already got. That was like a prepayment, bro.
Cabana music.
You got a quarter.
Yeah,
yesterday.
I like that. That's that's the best elevator music of all time.
It's principle, man.
Right there. You know when you're in the elevator, you know, I don't have to tell you guys about that. Okay, so yeah, thanks NVIDIA for taking more money away from me as we're sitting in a short again right now. And like, exactly, like this is the thing, you know, so we're in the money here. Like we're short at 70, 71.50, all that jazz. We took another short right there. Excuse me. So we were in the money at one point, like 50, 55, 60 cents. And now we're out of the money 80 cents as we wait for that top to break. And unfortunately, this is what happens, man. There it is. There's the lack of a drop. This NASDAQ is like Prad's beat right here. There is no drop. It's not coming back in. Like, why can't I get paid for like little quirks and things like that? You know, like
that's our drop the mic thing. Because that was a mic drop moment. It's true. It's like Prad's song. There is no drop.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's just let's see if we can get a little bit more into that because we're waiting for 272. So there it is. We'll just get that fill at 271.50, and now we'll wait to see. No point in averaging him back into this. If it continues to go back to the upside, it continues to go back up there, and we will be wrong, and we will be out at 2.7 deuce. Right now, Amazon, again, another good trade for us so far, right? But like, we're going to wind up losing on this most likely if it takes that 110. We have the 50 period right there. That's what we're trying to watch. We talked about that when we took the trade. We break the 200. We're waiting for the 50 now to hit. So, you know, 110.05. But this one actually makes more sense than the NVIDIA trade to me because at least this one, when we were short at 85.90, we did cover some 50s and some 60s there. So this one 1-to-1 is making a lot of sense. And we've also gotten out of this and we have the report coming. So I don't, you know, I can't say I hate this trade. I actually don't mind it. So let's wait to see what happens with Amazon as it's going up. I think this is worth the risk here against that 50 period and against 110. Let's see if Amazon wants to continue to dance. But wow, the NASDAQ is just blasted. Look at it. Look at this move here in the NASDAQ just continues to go up. What's up, Brendan?
Of the buy programs on this afternoon. Not terribly exciting, but NVAX just popping up here on a volume spike. Nice move up to about 775 there on a 13D. Which is a disclosure form of a large position. So this equity firm just picking up 4 million, I saw down here somewhere, 4,550,000 shares. So anytime it's above a certain percent of the overall float, they have to file that. So big pop there for Novavax.
Catch who that was. Was it anybody we know? Shaw Capital? Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you give. There's times you give a little bit more weight to those 13Ds if it's like Warren Buffett or something like that. But yeah, you see that spike. Like, remember the other day when HEVI had like the glimmer of hope news and it spiked up, and my immediate reaction was to find a dip buy zone because I kind of knew like where the support resistance was, and you know it gave like $1. This is not one of those situations. Like, I don't even know who the heck that is that bought it all up. It's worth investigating and like reading up on it tomorrow or overnight or on the train home for me. But yeah, I mean Novavax has been not great. However, if that's a catalyst to get to bounce off the 50, make a low like this and start going up. I mean, I just neglected to go long today on Intel when it was a dog bouncing off the 50 and slowing down and catching momentum. So maybe Novavax has something. I'm not going to trade this afternoon though. Not going to fall for that trap. I'm too busy shorting things like Square, which I just added to. So I didn't get any overfills. And when I talk about this, when I talk about over-under, if there's a resistance level like 61, I'm never all, you know what I mean? Like there's room up here, resistance probably 61.25 to 61.50. So when I have a level like that and it's wicking above, I say you get in, I would say get in like half the position or a little bit less than that, or never more than half underneath the 61. And then when it runs an even dollar stop that some people just put their stop at 61.01, which I don't think makes sense in a situation like this, it goes above, you take that fill. So you get the overfill, and then you wait till it's back underneath to start taking profits. So if it goes sideways the whole time, it's like make, bank inside. If it follows through, you get the big win, understanding that too many people trade off of that $61 level. So that's working to the downside. I will not hit the mic drop because I think it sucks. We'll do, I don't know. I'm just looking for an excuse to hit this one because nothing's actually been good enough for me to hit that today. So we'll hit the power up. That mic drop I think was terrible. We need some new animations. We talked about that before. I think mic drop in general is a good animation to have, but hopefully we get some kind of a push down. The good news is like Block is kind of failing this top, or at least holding this top, while the NASDAQ is continuing to do this. So this is a 15-minute of the NASDAQ. There's this, right at 2 o'clock, sorry, right at noon, sorry, 2 o'clock, what am I talking? At noon, there was one little tiny red candle that if you have really good vision, you can see it. I can zoom in so you can see it better. This is what the NASDAQ has been doing. So if a stock is actually turning around right now, then it's not that bad to have the short. If it's not breaking the high, then maybe it's okay. If it is breaking out right now, then just stay away from your short sell key, because that's what the market is doing. It is on an absolute tear. We're breaking levels and we're taking names. At least this is at something where it's at a level I can trade it. Everything else is trying to go long at the top. And if you're asking about top, it is still at $16. So yeah, I closed the betting on that one. I told you guys I would, but 16, running into some trouble there on top. And looks like it's going to probably end the day under. That said, there's an hour to go. How many times have we seen one of those things consolidate? Next thing you know, you're back at the high. All it takes is one move and it's halted up. So anything is possible. And here comes Tesla, 160 to 159.
Here comes everything.
We're right back to 160 again. So you know what? I am no longer getting short in the front of these moves. Not short in the front. I'm only going short in the back. Like it fails, and then I'm going to short the back end.
Yeah.
I'm not getting, it has to show me it's selling. I can hold what I have to the high, but it has to show me we're selling off. I'm not just going to jump in front of levels anymore. Sometimes it works, man. This is not one of those markets. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, Power Hour is setting up to be maybe a 3% day. You know what?
Congratulations!
If you snuck that long out there, I saw Brittany in the chat was like, I've been waiting forever. What the heck's wrong with my AMD chart? Waiting all day for this AMD to go and make the continuations. Like when you got an 84 long, and I know Brittany has this because she talked about this, and I mean, you mentioned this. I'm assuming you do. I know you're going to be honest about it. They had the 84 long, that double bottom on AMD. Like, look at that low. Multiple days, it's taking it right back into the top of the range. And we sit there. I'm not shorting this one. You know, it's super, super strong. Only 1.6% into 2.6. Maybe it turns from there, but that's what you're looking for. I waited all day long for that nasty 237 level to come back on Meta. That was the long I liked. I never got it. I never joined that trend because I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get that price. That's my price. I'm getting it again. No, it doesn't happen for you. That's what happened yesterday with Meta. That's what happened today. It doesn't mean it's not a bad one, though.
Okay, I mean, I like what you said there about waiting for something to pop up and then fail and then hit that short. I mean, that's exactly what we're trying to do, and that's why we're in Amazon here. That's quite frankly why we're in NVIDIA here as well. I mean, it just comes up, fails, breaks that bottom again, and now we'll see where we want to go. There's Amazon right now. Now we're short at 97 here against 110.10, and it looks like you're going to take that out again as well, as the market is at the day's high, and so is and Amazon's not at the day's high. This is why we're shorting it. We talked about that, but we're breaking through the 50 period right now, and yeah, just. Oh man, I feel like, honestly, man, I feel like that boxer that just like every round, it's like boom, boom, boom. So right now, yeah, that's not a good feeling to be short right now. We shouldn't be. Google's at 108.08 as well. Microsoft, wow, 304 right now.
It's like fighting Rocky
still
style.
going, yeah, this is what I mean. We're just fighting it. It's fine. It's just, it's cuts. But at some point you get gashed when those, see, there you go. Amazon just broke again. So we're positive on Amazon today, but this is what I mean. It's like, give it back, and then eventually you'll hit it. But we're not doing that. That's a 15-cent hit there on Amazon right now. So, all right, we're only short NVIDIA, and it's not blasting. So maybe this is the right call. What's up, Brendo?
Hey guys, yeah, 3 o'clock, 1 hour to go on what's turning into a very positive afternoon. As we were mentioning, it's been about tech. It's still about tech at this point. 2.7. Will we get to 3% on the day? Still a better part of an hour to figure it out. 2.4 there for the composite, leading to the upside. All three Russells, 1, 2, 3,000, nicely positive, almost 2% kind of a day for the S&P at this point as well. If you're with us pre-market this morning, ton to go over. It was the busiest week, or busiest day of the week as far as earnings were concerned. Just a huge day for Meta, Microsoft, and Google. We're all back on watch. If you missed it as well, remember, it seems like a long time ago, but we got that GDP print at 8:30, signaling, yeah, maybe the economy starting to slow down a bit, but inflation remaining pretty high with weekly jobless claims back to the downside. Not good for the overall market initially this morning, but man, did we ever shake that off in a hurry. Here's Amazon as well. Remember, to come at the close, we'll get earnings from Amazon and Intel. Guys, back to you.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be, like, obviously, earnings are going to be fire. Like, we've had big cap earnings giving you 10% moves all week. And that's, I don't want to say it has to continue, but I feel like we're going to get something that moves that big. I think no question about it. It's just almost a guarantee there's going to be a big mover because there's so many names to get to. However, we're going to do this one. It's the only one that's working. Thank you. Finally, block. Block's flat on the day, but the 61 area short has been paying out, but no breakdown. This is the thing. A lot of times at this point in the day, if a stock is this good at a resistance zone, it would break down by now. You'd be seeing, like, you'd be getting fills in the 50s and 60s. Maybe you'd be getting something in front of VWAP. That's just not happening because this market is just powering to the upside.
Why?
It's going, like, it's not, this won't get to VWAP without a turn in the market. So it's working, but how many times can I go to this well? I didn't get it the first time. I didn't really get it the second time. It's actually the third time it's testing up here that I'm shorting it. The fourth time, probably not good. And I'll have to get out of it. That's just how it is. Amazon is insane. We'll see what happens to that one in the aftermarket. To be sure, I actually don't know exactly what time they're supposed to report.
It hasn't mattered. We've been wrong every time.
Oh, yeah. Every single time we know the time, it's been wrong. You're wrong. Like, yeah, you're right. Meta was 5 minutes later.
And Tesla was supposed to be 4:05.
And it was 4 o'clock.
Yeah, no, I don't think we know. I don't think we had that one live. Did we, Tesla? I don't think so.
I don't
think we did. Yeah, so we'll, again, if something comes out right at 4-ish, we will have it live for you all right now. But see, so right now, again, like, look at Google, so we were short, and then we got out, and then we went long. So that's what's been happening recently on Google for me. But like right here again, is this not? But the market just keeps on blasting up. But like this should be a short right here, honestly, man. Against 108.15, like this should be a short for Google. Especially you break that 108, you're right there on the 50 period. It looks like it wants to go down, but at the same time, is this not a buy as well? It's just like, when you're trading that and you're curling up like this, and you got up 420 right there. We haven't looked at? We didn't look at any of the cannabis names because there was that Safe Banking Act.
So true.
There.
So
Let
true.
me just see. Anyways, what I was getting at here, and I'll go to Tilray or something after this. Let me just go right there right now. I was just talking about that Google. It looks like right now it's trying to set up, to get to the downside. Like a break, this is the thing. If you break this 107.96 area, I mean, look at this. Again, we haven't even looked at this 200 period until right now where you barcode and slow down. So normally, which has not been working today, FYI, normally you would take a break of this, watch it go to the downside and hopefully have it and then use your out at that 50 period. So that's kind of like, you know, a strategy that I don't mind doing, but today, again, it doesn't seem to be working out for me. So you guys take it if you want, but I don't know, man. I'm already dug into this video. We just got more short up there, by the way. All right, so let's check out Tilray. Most of the time, I was going to say most of the time you get an upsize move early on the name and then it just gives it all back. But today, Tilray really not doing anything. It's up the exact. Tilray is where it is at open. This is the opening print today, $2.35. Maybe you got a dip by opportunity to amazing 230 there, up to 240. So right now, Tilray today not doing much, but still up that 8%. The other name that you might be interested in if you are a holder of marijuana or cannabis stocks, CGC, another one, which is so funny because this name on the layout that's behind us, you might see some layouts there. It's my layout that people have. It's all, those are all, see it's flashing back and forth. The price of Canopy there on that layout.
On that screen grab, which is 3 years old, 2.5 years old?
It's 50, oh there it is right there, $58 Canadian, something like that. So let's go to weed. Is it still weed or did they finally change that over in Toronto? It's still weed. So here you go, look at the price. $58 over there, now $1.77. So down about 98% or so on Canopy growth. So that was amazing. And there it is right there as well. So that's on the US side of things. So absolutely brutal. And then yeah, you can also, hey, what's up, Darwin? You're 100% right. I got in and out of Grow Generation brands. I do like it. Isn't it GR? Oh, is it WG? GR? Yeah, there it is, Grow Generation brand. So again, another one of those names that I never traded this on the show, which is why, you know, it's not part of my layout, but this is another name that I actually had liked. Oh, wow. This is, I'm gonna have to zoom back. I don't know how long it's gonna take to load, but this was like $80 or something. Anyways, all the way down here to 3, as you can see, just keeps on going to the down. Yeah, look at that. There it is right there. $71 down to $3 right now. So, all right, let's go back over to some of this market movers because you guys are talking about Microsoft that we had at 296, of course. Now it's 305. Not only did we have it at 296, but we also had it right there at 300 break as well. With our best out, this one I'm not that mad at because our best out is 03. So sure, we give up $2, but giving up $2 on a $300 name, you know, isn't the end of the world, but yeah, still continues to work. If something's working early, we should still be in it, and that's really the part that bugs me. Yeah, okay, Amazon apparently coming out at 4 o'clock, says the professor right there. And here we go, we just added some more to NVIDIA. We talked about that, but guess what's gonna happen? It is gonna take out that 272, it seems like right now. So that's the high right there, 271.65. It's coming up. I'm just giving it just a little bit more to 272 because it's an even dollar level, but it looks like we will lose about $1 on this name as well if we do take down that 272. So frustration's mounting, but hey, I'm doing it to myself. So the more you short this, the worse it is. You would think that it's revenge trading, but it's actually, I don't look at it that way because I'm looking at setups, and the only thing that I'm mad at is to not have been holding some of these because they're all little cuts, but at the same time, it's like nothing is falling down. The market is straight up right now, and I thought that we'd get a little bit of a pullback down into power hour, and I've just been wrong today. So yeah, we'll give a big L today on our net unless something dramatic happens to NVIDIA.
So I said I would not add to this position until there was confirmation that you're going to have a double top on Tesla. So, you know, it's strange because this is what will happen to you is when you're counter trend, every time you get out somewhere and it's like, hey, that was a good out. Of course it's a good long, right? But, you know, I'm playing off that 160. A lot of times if I was aggressive and really, really loved the shorts that day, I'd already be adding to the position. It's just not, it's not one of those days. I'm still seeing uptrend in the NASDAQ, so it has to show me what it showed me before, which was a heck of a lot more weakness, a couple of red bars in there that were really rejecting that 160 top again, and then I'll take a shot at it. I don't want to turn what was a winning trade into a losing trade. However, this one feels right. Like I said, square, like it's still holding, but that 60 and a half, I'm gonna take some out there because it's obviously a little flag and setting up for support. So if it gives me that 50 bid, I'm definitely gonna be on that one for sure. Just Nicolay saying, it's the second time you've said this, short Intel. So I'm going to show you Intel from yesterday because I want to. It's really tight to that zone. Our trades don't show up from yesterday anymore. I'm not really sure why they took that feature away, but you used to be able to see your executions for like the previous week. Oh, the position board's off. I'm short Square at 60.98. I'm short Tesla at 159.83 if you're just tuning in. Until I get a fill, it's not going to update. Intel is at that zone. I was short this, but that was at the midday, and it was every reason in the world to like that short. This is very different. I don't mind that notion. And I might actually consider taking this trade, but to me, the out was up at 29.85. And right now, you're giving up 20 cents on Intel, which doesn't seem like a lot, but hey, man, like that's almost a full percent on Intel. So to start into it, if this was early in the day, where there's plenty of time to build a position and plenty of time for it to fall, I'd be working into it saying, yeah, that's fine. You can spot 15 to 20 cents if you only get a couple of fills. But that's not how it works when there's only 45 minutes left to go in the day. When there's a little bit of time and not enough for it to make the big flush, I structure the trade totally differently. Here, I was just adding every few minutes, and every single time it looked a little bit weak, or every time it would spike up into resistance. But that's not happening on Intel, so I'm staying away from that. If it goes right up to 85, maybe I can work that one. The way I see it, it's been frustrating enough for the short trades, so why not just work with what is, something that made sense, and that's going to be block. I'll work with this. I'm trying to take my fill at 50. Let's cross the spread here and just get out. I wanted to get something out in front of 50. You're going to ring the register on that one because, quite frankly, there hasn't been much. But this one feels like it's going to be good. If the market is topped out, this is seeing $60 today. It just turned red on the session. I feel a little bit more confident about that. Tesla, now a couple of reds in there. I said, I don't mind. I don't mind the fact if I have to pay down and get 159.70s, I should have. Okay, now I don't want to chase it too far, but that's okay, because I'd rather miss the back end of this than short it on the way up and just get run over. At least I'm joining a potential pullback here, as opposed to just standing in front of a moving freight train. I'd rather do that 9 times out of 10. There are moments when you just want to stand in front of a level no matter what. The Neo bid at $8 the other day. I'm just sitting on that bid and I'm taking it. I don't care what happens because I think it's too good. But days like today, I'd rather set it up like this. I'm still giving it to the high. Yes, I gave up 20 cents position-wise, but the entry just feels a little bit better. So let's see what happens. Only 2 positions for me, and I don't think I'm going to put a third on. Maybe closer to 330 if we get an indication. No dip buys that I like right now. I mean, Coinbase blasted through the one day I don't short it, and Coinbase just pulled back $1.30.
I'm frustrated with all that as well. Look at Amazon. Look
I always
at
short
freaking
Coinbase.
Amazon right now. Here's my shorts, short, let's have tighter stops because, the market's blasting, So we have some tight stops right there. We give it to 110.10. It says, oh, okay, we'll just go to 20 there and stop, and then just come right immediately straight back down to the downside. So, we would be much safer in this position if we had stayed in it, and our net would now be much more under control. But it's still under control, but this is not a great setup right there. So nice downside push. Maybe if Amazon does come back up here, we'll look at it. But I don't want to tell people to take profit, but that's a nice move to Amazon right back in again, where we first were getting out on some of our shorts. So I'm not frustrated. I don't think net we really lost that much here on Amazon because we won there. The problem is I have 50 fills on Amazon today, so it's difficult for me to say this one won or this one lost. But for right there, we are getting ready to rock and roll with it. So Amazon, again, could have taken that. Now you're right back into that level. So if you zoom out a little bit more on Amazon, you're looking at that 109.20. You're looking at something around here for AMZN. So that's what I was saying before, that I thought that we could have a nice move down for Amazon. Fortunately, we have those wicks, but there is the nice move down with earnings coming. And Sharif just said 401, 402 is where they pumped it out last time. So we'll see about that. We did take a little bit of a meta short, but again, this looks okay. We'll see if it comes back out above 240, a little bit more above this, then we're going to get out again. We don't need to be in this name. We're just going to try it to see if it does work. And we got some NVIDIAs out when it came back down. We actually came back into the 50 period, so we did take some of that because it looks like NVIDIA now. And again, I just can't win. It's just one of those things. The market, look what the market did again. Stopped at the 50 period again. Like I'm sitting here thinking, if we break this, and it's just if and buts are something in nuts.
Candy and
nuts.
It's candy and nuts, right?
But
how about we do this one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because here's the thing. Like trading, anybody that tells you trading is easy or, give me $175 million a month or wire Bitcoin to me and I'll make sure your account's positive every single day. I win 99 days out of 100, all that utter nonsense. We've been sitting on a prop floor, Sean and myself, for over 20 years. Sean, a little bit longer than myself. My 20-year anniversary for trading is actually this October. It'll be 20 years for me. But it's not that way. There's days that you're going to get hit. So here's a day where almost everything doesn't work, and you're battling it, and you're trying to stick to your plan, and all that kind of stuff, all that good stuff. And it's a good learning experience, right? Like, how can you do better? That's what it is, and that's all I can say. But with that said, we're here every day for you guys, and she's right behind us, but I'm going to hit it anyways.
Hola. Like and subscribe today.
Yeah, let's go.
She's right behind us, Katrine, and you did eat the
this.
cookie. You haven't even finished that cookie? Yo, so Brankles, one of the risk managers on the floor here, brought these white chocolate
Brankles.
cookies, and they are legit. I've already had
from
two.
Farm Boy.
They're from Farm Boy. They're delicious. I've had two. Kat brought one and was there at like 9 o'clock in the morning. She's taken 2 bites of that. I could only, if I had that type of discipline with pastries, like forget about it, man. I'd be like Mr. Universe or something. Like it's ridiculous. It's insane. I don't know how you can do that. I could not stare at a cookie in front of me for 6 hours and take 2 bites. That's amazing.
Dude, try 6 minutes.
6 minutes? You guys have seen me. Like, Fahad will come bring me an apple fritter, and I can't wait 30 seconds to eat it, and I'm live on the show. Like, it's there. I'm like, okay. And then Sean's talking, and I'm doing this the whole time. That's how I roll. We do a lot of talking. I get hungry. It's a hungry business, man.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. And especially when you get those treats, those tasty treats. But, okay, guys, it's 3:18. We will wait for that market on close imbalance to come through again here today. But, yeah, is there any other names you guys want us to look at? I mean, we haven't really looked at any of the banks today. I know we started trading FRC late yesterday as well. 620, it's still the same price. Ooh, okay. There's a little bit of a move down there. Just looking to see if there's any news. I don't really see any. But there it is, man. Nice move down for FRC. Right back, so it wicks down to 6 even pretty much, 609. That little bottom there is literally 6. So, yeah, that's probably a great long. If you're going to sit in front of them, I mean, here I am saying this is maybe a good long when realistically the rest has been a pretty good long. But right there, 610, 609, you know, that's a nice little dip down there. This is going to be news-based. I don't think it's a wise idea to hold it overnight, but if you're not too exposed to it, then why not? Or you have enough risk that you're not worried about losing half or something like that, because it's just the last couple of days and this name hasn't been very kind to it. I mean, we'll have to zoom in a little bit more, but you know, you were just at 14, you had earnings, 14 turns into 8, which turns into 5, which now is 6. So, you know, nice little move down for FRC. Let's just see if that continues to give some of that movement to the downside here. And you know, watch out for 6. That 598 has been the bottom for that. Yeah, long FRC and short everything else. Yeah, no, that doesn't. That's what I was saying. That makes absolutely no sense here today. So Amazon all the way back to 110. I mean, we could take that short again if we wanted to.
So guess what ends in PM and is bounced off 35 again?
Ends in PM. I don't know.
JP.
Oh, I kept thinking like Altria or
no,
Philip
JP
Morris.
Morgan, that 135 level. The 50 period on JP, it bounced off it yesterday, so it hits it and then holds and then bounces to the upside again. And this was that, the whole of wicks on this silly chart, but it doesn't matter. You kind of can get the idea. On the earnings, it broke out 35, broke out 38, and then got into the 40s. It pulls back, bounces off 35. So this is a good zone JPM's in. I'm only in the 2 positions, and I was told by someone in the chat, I'm being a little bit dramatic with that. I was told by someone in the chat to remind everybody, trading is about probabilities. It is not a science. Every decision you make it's not about, oh, I do this because it works. I buy off this indicator and then I'm going to win. No, it's okay. the probability that Tesla goes from 160 back to 159 without breaking 160.30, in my estimation, I'm looking at that and saying it's a better chance it does that than it doesn't. And that's all. Like sometimes it's going to stop you out up at that high, but when I see that setup, I'm just going to take it. And it's shown me enough reason to. It's again pulling off the highs while the market is, I mean, quite frankly, doing this. Again, the NASDAQ does a wick top on the 15-minute and then just grinds higher. And then grinds higher. Like it did it here. If that was some equities, I would be thinking about shorting it. When the market's doing that to you, your only option is to just be sitting in a futures long. Or find something that isn't doing that. Tesla isn't. Block's breaking 60.50 here. So that one looks like it's going to work going into the close. But think in terms of not being right 100% of the time. Just what would you do 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10 and try to stick with that. And that's all it's going to be. So we'll see what happens. Tesla probably under more stress than Apple, than Block.
NASDAQ's 3%.
We are 3%.
Unbelievable. What a day, man. Microsoft carrying the day. I mean, Meta's not stopping. Microsoft's not stopping.
As I'm only short.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm short as well right now. Like, it's so crazy to do this. But yeah, I'm trying to play these probabilities that we keep on talking about. What do we think? What's up, Ian Respecto there? Yeah, Respecto Gadget. So we've talked about some of the metaverse, AWS and things like that. So shout out right there for $5. Right there he is right here. Ian Respetto. Right there. Best guess based on the info that you know about them and what they've done lately. I mean, yeah, that's all they are. Would be guesses at some point. But I said it on the midday show when someone asked Max, I believe, or we talked about earnings and where potentially Amazon was going to go. And sometimes you just want to look at, like, you know, what's been happening on the daily. And what's been happening on the daily is blasting off right now. So you still have that 50-period moving average right there. You know, you got to see what kind of metrics they're looking at. Amazon recently has laid off more employees. So I think that, you know, remember what got Meta going was they mentioned that they were going to just turn out to be more efficient. And then so, you know, if Amazon, with what they've been doing lately, has been some more layoffs, they've been talking about instituting more AI into their back end and their front end with their app and things like that, understanding what people want more, you know, what you buy, what are some of your habits and so on and so forth. So for me, I think if they start talking more about that and AI and how that can help them even in their warehousing and things like that, then I think there is some potential there for Amazon to beat and to go up something similar to what everything else has been going up, that 8, 9, 10%, you know, possibly. That would make sense to me because, again, I'll zoom back out again.
Implied on it?
And yeah, we can look at that implied. I don't know how accurate that's been, but we can definitely have a look. That high, we never got to 117 there or anything like that, but you're sort of right where we've seen before, and unfortunately, because we don't take into account the split here, let me just call it up on another screen. I just want to say because the reason why I'm looking at this is, if you do get a beat, you know, where could that beat go, right? Like, where made it stop? I mean, 115, so we did get that little wick higher there, up to 115, then that moved down. So that was back on the February quarter, I guess. So nice move down. We'll see what happens right now. You know, that 120 looks pretty interesting to me. So you might get a little bit of a move up to there. That would be about 8%. So into 120 would make sense. And
it's 6, but
so you have the implied volatility right there.
I mean, Meta mashed that. Microsoft mashed it as well. So when I see that 6 and you tell me that 120 level's 8%, like, I'm with you there. Like, that's what we've been getting in this earnings season, especially with the big tech names. And there was a good question.
Still in Square? Yeah,
I'm still in Square.
Square's a good one.
Tesla, I might trim Tesla some. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to get out some Tesla flat.
Can't stop looking at that Square chart or that NASDAQ.
I'm just getting some of it out flat, and this is sort of. No, normally I wouldn't, because like nothing's actually changed in the position except for the fact the market's turning to the upside. So I'm just going to trim some of Tesla while I can get it out for a non-loss. Quite frankly, that feels pretty good right now. But Square is the only thing working. So I'm holding that to view up. There was a question in the chat, and it was like, and it's a weird one, but I answered it in the chat. I'm going to answer it for anybody that didn't see it get put in there. And it was along the lines with, like, how do you deal with losses? Have you ever cried from a loss? I almost did once, and it was the first time I lost 4 figures as a trader. And at that time, I'd never really had a big day. It was really my second month So I graduated, and this was the following month. So I graduated as a full-time trader on the prop floor, and I was kind of leveling up on some things and putting more risk on. It's a bit of a long story with the way that the risk system worked at that point, but suffice to say, I wasn't always the type of person that would push more shares, and the risk manager at the time, not you, Sean, and I won't say who it was, upped my maximum share default. So like once I get a certain number of shares, I can't take any more. It wasn't only buying power, there was a limit for the actual amount of shares because you trade a lot of penny stocks at the time, which is what I did. And he upped that limit and didn't tell me. There was a miscommunication on it. And so I thought my orders on this other thing would cancel once I hit that limit. They didn't. I got wiped into a level. 5 minutes later, I was stopped out for a maximum hit. I was like, I couldn't believe it. It happened really fast. But the best part about that was I looked at it and realized, okay, well, that was the worst case scenario that could have happened. And I looked at how much I lost. And it's like, well, if you had managed that position, if you'd had that many shares and done it the way you wanted, okay, well, I would have lost a third of that, but the potential upside was actually fantastic. And what it made me realize was when I was right, I wasn't risking nearly enough because I just got 5 times as much as I want. What I didn't want, I got 5x of that, and the hit wasn't that bad because the prices I'd gotten in actually were pretty good entry points. So it taught me a very good lesson. A, you should always know your trading parameters. That's on me. Miscommunication, it's on me, 100% every single time. And B, you've got to be able to understand that if something's making you money, you've got to be able to put it on the line and recognize that's true. Yes. And that's what he was pushing me to do. So, it was a great learning experience. I didn't actually cry on the floor. I've seen it happen a couple of times. Not by anybody I know that's on this floor right now.
I fired a guy and he cried. I should have been nicer.
I'm not naming
But then
any
I gave him
names.
his job back.
I know who that is, and I'm not going to name any names because we don't do that. I know another person that did as well.
Yeah.
And
I laid into him because of inappropriate risk. And then I felt bad, and he came back the next day. So that's, sometimes you got to feel the wrath to understand.
Hey, sometimes
what's
it works,
going down.
though.
Yeah. Greg makes people cry almost on a daily basis behind us here. You should see these guys, man. You should see Obi, man. The guy balls.
Really intimidating when the risk manager is wearing socks and sandals.
Yes. And gangster glasses where he looks like Horace Grant or something like that.
Kurt Rambis.
Kurt Rambis, perfect name.
And he wears short shorts when he plays basketball.
Exactly, yeah. So, okay. But hey, nothing wrong with Kurt Rambis. Successful career.
How many championships does Kurt Rambis have? Seriously, what, like 3? I have no idea, but
I have no idea either.
You know what? He might have more championships than LeBron James. Look it up.
All right, so shout out to Yanis there. You got fired today, so I don't know why you have smiley faces, but that's good. Congratulations on that one. If you are happy for that, hopefully, I don't think I'm going to be getting fired anytime soon, but yeah, if we do take that 4-figure hit today, then maybe I will take tomorrow off, which I will not, of course. Look what's happening right now to Meta finally. Hallelujah. So, like I said, man, the sun shines on a dog's ass a couple times a day, and it's doing it right now again to me. So 240 we're short right now, and it's 50 cents, an amazing amount of money right now. So I'm just going to bid this out one more time there at 45. And, Meta finally does that drop down. We tried it. We got hit a little bit, then it's coming back in. And right there, right down to VWAP again. Will Meta give us this 238 and change? Probably not, but that's what we're waiting for here on Meta. We've just made a decent amount of money back from our day, but still not that much. So, yes, what's up, Henry Chung? That's Kat, of course, so shout out to her, working in sales. She's not people saying, well, why isn't she trading? Not a trader, so we'll talk about that. You can't collect unemployment if you get fired. Correct. I cried when I quit my last job. So, okay. Yeah, well, whatever. We're not going to talk about crying anymore. But I cry all the time. And honestly, I cried the other day when my daughter told me she made the rep team.
Yeah,
I cry literally all of the time. And my
reason.
wife looks at me and says, yeah, she knows my father as well because we're that Italian, and honestly, man, we wear emotions on the sleeve, and that's why sometimes you see we getting very excited here on the floor. But
those are the good ones, though.
Part of good cries are good. I don't like personally because I'm so emotional. Like there's documentaries and stuff about sad things. I cannot watch. Like my wife the other day goes. There was some good that Indonesia. I think we talked about this on the show. That Air, whatever it was, where the pilot basically committed suicide and they can't find the plane and hundreds of lives lost on that. And it's like it talks about families and all that. No, I am not watching that kind of
I'm a
stuff.
bit opposite. I like watching it, and I just don't mind. Like, sometimes you
watch
get a cry.
Titanic.
I watch
That's
like the
not
color purple every single time, and I will. If I see Field of Dreams, I'm always gonna watch it. And I told this. I was
Field of Dreams.
We're at the dinner table, and I was explaining Field of Dreams to my daughter. She's 6, so obviously she's not gonna get it. And I'm explaining it's a baseball movie. She's like, "Oh, that's cool," but I'm telling her like kind of like a gist of the story, and she's like, "This is the most boring thing ever." Then I said Darth Vader is in the movie because James Earl Jones, and she gets a little bit excited. And then I said, "Daddy always cries." She said, "Why do you cry?" I said, "You're gonna understand when you're older, and the first time you watch it, you're gonna call me and say, 'I understand.'" Because the first thing I do when I watch Field of Dreams, every single time, I either call or message my dad, tell him I love him. It's the craziest thing. I'm a baseball guy. If you know the movie, whatever. If you've never seen it, fine. But Color Purple is another one. That is one of the Oprah was never much of an actor. Oprah Winfrey.
She was in that.
She is.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable the performance she gives. It's unreal. Like you would think that she was like
Free car for you. Free car for you.
no, but you'd seriously think she was an Oscar 5-time winner from that performance. It is unbelievable
like
the
Oprah.
performance that she gave in that. It's you see that and you're just like, wow, how talented are you for real? That you're not just
And how
the Meryl
smart
Streep.
that lady is.
And super smart too.
She has created a big empire.
She's rich. Yeah.
Rich
Anyways,
bitch.
let's go to Brendan for something.
Hey guys, pretty volatile a couple of days here for cryptocurrency markets as we head towards the close of the equity markets. So I'll give you an update. We're all discussing, or a lot of people anyways, looking at this GDP number this morning in the pre-market, the negative correlation, meanwhile, with the DXY as far as Bitcoin is concerned, was showing some resemblance of a month or two ago, heading towards that GDP number. If you missed it, it comes out lower than expected. So the overall economy, that kind of means the overall economy is slowing, but then we get the weekly jobless claims number that comes in higher than expected or lower than expected, signaling that we could still see some strength in the underlying employment market. Anyway, my point here, it's still pretty negative. We do get a nice pop, though, back above 1900 initially this morning on Ethereum. We're right back down again today. Same story for BTC. We saw that crazy reversal. This is a daily chart. We saw that crazy reversal that happened late in the day yesterday for Bitcoin, back to the downside, but pretty much all erased. If I zoom in here, at this point, we're right back to 29,800, still holding on to a decently positive showing on the day there, 2.8%. For Bitcoin, about 2% as well. For Ethereum, as I mentioned, 1923 still coming into play. Kind of mixed overall, we'll call it today, guys, for crypto.
Back to the 30,000. I think that's obviously it's a big psychological level, but it ran into a wall. Like, man, when it was a failed break on that and then just died.
Yeah.
Down to 27, which is the supply zone.
Crypto's trading kind of like a stock.
It really is.
Yeah, you can just watch the levels, and you talked about that supply zone earlier.
Sometimes it's like we can't trade that on our platform, just so you guys know. Like we can't actually, and when we can, obviously,
Hopefully
I think
soon.
there's some good technical opportunities for that. The early look on the imbalances, it's 6 million to buy. On the day the market is up 3%, the imbalance is 6 million to buy. So the imbalance it's not going to matter today. Maybe we'll see something on one of the names that's reporting. Who knows? We'll check out Amazon just to be sure. I trimmed Tesla. It's still flat. Square is still in the money. That's what I'm working with here. By trimming it because the market just kept going up and it's getting toward the end of the day. I mean, instead of tightening up my stop or anything, just take risk off or whatever and see what happens next. Amazon, whoops, I almost actually typed the word Amazon instead of AMZN because I was saying it. Amazon is actually holding beneath the 110 level. That reverse, yeah, this is actually, 110 has been good, but then you could also say the same of just buying the 109.5 as well. I expect to see some fireworks to close. It's already up 5%, which could change some things. But certainly, if you're trading after market, good luck to you. We won't be doing that. That's not how we roll. If you're tuning in for the first time, we're day trading. We're flat at the end of the day. That means we're getting out before 4 o'clock. I think you're going to see a big whipsaw action in either direction. And quite frankly, if you do trade, I wouldn't. But that first move has been an absolute death trap on these earnings. Like almost every single, whether it's Meta, whether it's Netflix, if you've traded the first move, unless you're catching a falling knife, it is tended to burn you taking the first break in either direction because it'll top wick, bottom wick a couple of times, just running stops like absolute crazy. So let's see what happens. This top stock, no way. Oh man, I bet the under.
I bet the over. I think I talked about it on the midday show.
Remember, I was like, yeah, if it holds, this stock could just go up $2 or $3 like this and halt to the upside. It's at 18. It's still churning. This is insane. Up 170%. I don't think there was even any real news on this stock. If Brendan, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember hearing anything that sounded like it was solid. But either way, look what it's doing. We talk about the big halt levels. The big halt level was $15. The support is $15. That's about the only trade. If you 16 dip into 15, risking $1 to make 2 into resistance at 18, 19, that's at least something. The rest of it's absolutely nothing. Thank you for the super chat, Donnie Zimbabwe. Want to see this is random.
That's a great name.
Want to see the 3rd largest baseball card collection? It's right behind me in my office. That is random, but I'm probably the person in this stream that thinks that's really, really cool. Because that's how I am.
I mean, obviously, send a picture. I don't know.
I'd love to see a picture. Can you?
How do you know if you have, how do you know that the collection that you have is said largest or 3rd largest?
That's insane.
How does he know how many baseball cards I have, for
You
example?
can't know that. Because first of all, like the big collectors, you never know how much they have. I watched some documentary on like wine collecting. Oh, man. And it's like you had the people that are really collecting, you got no idea who these dudes are, man. And they have so much, it's insane. But yeah, baseball cards have gone. A buddy of mine still does like the autos, and he's been doing really well with it because he knows prospects. But yeah, it's amazing. Maybe tweet us or DM me because I'd love to see a picture of that. That sounds pretty cool. But everyone else probably caring more about the fact the market's going to hit 3% to the upside, but top, it just came back. So top, what goes up? It was on the churn to 19, right back to 17 even. That's why I don't trade that stuff, man. I stay well away from it if I can. Sometimes it sets up, other times it quadunks.
Yeah, NVIDIA just took out the top there of 272 there. So yeah, that quadunked upside. And yeah, the market again, like it just bounced off the 50 period again. Like, so yeah, this is what we're saying. Every time you got to sort of take the good with the bad and try to analyze what you're doing and figuring out where this market could potentially go, and where it goes from here is hopefully down because we still have our meta short. But right there, look, so we just got taken out at the top for NVIDIA, and I didn't want to do like the 75% thing, so we just got out of everything right there. Again, we got a decent out at 271.15, but that's still about $1 worth of a hit right there, so that sucks for NVIDIA. But Facebook or Meta is trying to work to the short side right now. We're short at 240.10 with our best out at 42. Hopefully that can come back down, and we'll see what happens into the close now. With Brendan gave us the number, it was 6 million to buy. So we talked about that a little bit, and yeah. Today, brand new 52-week high list. Microsoft, Meta, McDonald's, Eli Lilly, and Starbucks actually own all of those, so that's pretty good.
Eli, baby.
Yeah, Eli Manning. Eli? Oh, Eli Lilly?
No, Eli Lilly.
Yeah. Today's NBA
draft
day.
So, NFL draft.
NBA draft. NFL draft.
Eli Manning.
Where the number 1 pick, just like in NBA, is pretty
I'll
much
never forget.
Solidified. Right
Eli 123.
Yeah.
That is the greatest fantasy phone call I ever got. It was our
now
deadline.
Those deals happen like every day in our pool.
Our deadline was midnight on whatever, maybe it was a Thursday, I have no idea. I get a call from our buddy. It's 11:55, and this is when there was 1 year Matt Schaub was legit, and I had Matt Schaub, and he goes, Eli 1, 2, 3. So his first, second, and third round picks. He needed a quarterback, and he wanted Matt Schaub, who was leading in passing yards. And I was just like, 2 minutes ago, accept. Thank you very much. You just solidified my run for the next few years. Eli ended up beating Matt Schaub for the rest of the season to boot. So I ended up improving my team, getting 3 picks. And the guy was so bad the next 3 years, we literally printed shirts that said his record over the next 5 years. And then every time at the draft, we'd wear the shirts over how embarrassing that was for him. And I didn't feel bad about it because he offered it to me, and it was a deadline deal, and it's fine. We're all big boys. I'm taking more out of Square because it's holding higher lows, because everything is holding higher lows, 60-50. Maybe I get VWAP, maybe I don't. Tesla, believe it or not, Believe it or not, there's actually, oh my goodness, we came back to 159, so I did trim it, but I finally got a little bit back here. Not gonna get to green on the day. That's not gonna happen for me. But at least something is coming to the downside. Tesla rejecting 160 a couple times. Meanwhile, in Appleville,
Ooh, I like that.
Apple's just chilling, stone cold chilling.
Congratulations!
If you've got the trend. I've decided, despite the fact, and here's the thing, despite the fact that a couple of these shorts are actually paying off here, what would have been easier? This, or mind the wicks on this, or that? No, my black chart's better, so I'm showing you a black chart. Or this. What's easier? That's just easier. That's a 15-minute chart. It's all green since breaking 167.5. So you can win or make it hard in your life, or you can make it easy. Right? Like if you see, like some people like to dance behind the line and try to be a hero and juke everybody out and all that nonsense, and others just hit the hole and go. That's another football reference, by the way.
What's up? Do we talk about this here? Press like now. The super chat cost me unnecessary expense, so do not make me lose my money for nothing. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for continuing to support the show. And we're sorry if nobody hits the likes, but we would like them to hit the like as well. So a big shout out to you, Arsis FX. Thank you so much for that. Trading FX, it seems like. And again, our platform is not really set up to do that, although if you are with Day Trade the World, you can trade FX. Yeah. So, you know, if you are into that, there it is. Well, up to 3,000. What are we even at
There's
right
a
now?
reason prop traders,
700.
like on prop floors, you don't have as many FX traders. And the reason for that is, like at a prop floor, one of your biggest advantages is you get to trade firm capital, obviously, but you get much more leverage.
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to have way more buying power than we ever could if we were trading a retail account, realistically speaking. That's why you trade on a prop desk. But for FX, pretty much anybody, it's just a lot easier to get enough leverage to trade large. So there's less of an advantage for prop traders trading FX. That's why you don't see very many of them, because you could just be a retail FX trader and probably have the same amount of capital as an FX trader would here. Doesn't mean we don't have it available, it's just the advantage isn't there. That's why you pretty much will never see us do it. There was one guy that did years ago,
yeah,
you remember him? He
it
wasn't
out
bad, but like a lot of the moves are overnight, so it's just like it's odd hours.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Also, is that I feel like if you are specializing in something, FX has so many different things about it. Like you know, you're not looking at the same kind of per stock news per se.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking at more macro levels and key levels, and you may have to hold overnight rather than scalp it. But that's just me talking, not from experience. I don't trade that. And sometimes someone's asked it there, do we trade futures? Yeah, we do, and I do often. You'll see me in, you know, the queues or something like that on a, you know, an event day, which I guess today apparently was up 30%. Like if we get CPI or something like that, I'll definitely trade the indexes. So we will be doing that over and over again. So join us on those days. I'm going to take one more piece out of Meta here because we are at 239. So we're making everything back. Like hopefully this can come in, fill us at 239, and then we still have half right now. So we'll take out another 10%. We've taken out 10% every time. Our best fill is right here at 11. So that's right where we're at right now. I just saw it bounce off 239. So I'm just going to take one more fill and then into the close. We'll see if Meta wants to give something back. And if it were to give something back, I think that you're looking at something. You're looking at something around here, 238 1/4. You know, like that will be pretty good if we got down to that. We asked the 8-ball before we went off the air at 11 o'clock if we were going to see 237, and both the 8-ball and Prad said yes. So we'll see.
8-ball lied.
I don't know if it lied yet, man. I don't know if it lied yet. Let's just wait to see. It would have been nice to know that it would possibly not have happened until the close, which would have been nice to know, because then I just could have just been going long against that level. But right now, we just take a piece out. We'll see if we can get a better fill here on Meta on the downside. Best fill right there, 11s, as of course it retraces back up. But the future's trying to take that bottom. What's up, Brendo?
Just checking out Pfizer there. There was an FDA note on one of their treatments. For 6 weeks to 17-year-olds, a vaccine for kids just coming through there. It really didn't do anything to the overall stock, though. Still kind of chopping around here for Pfizer. Meanwhile, Apple, guys, going to add AI improvements to Siri coming next year, apparently. That's from the information just coming across.
They're all going to, spoiler alert, Spoiler alert.
Apple buy.
That's the big one, obviously. Well, one of the interesting things is, look, I mean, Apple's buy for many reasons, but
There goes Meta.
consider how
finally.
much these guys pay to like Google for those rights for, like essentially like Google.
Hold on a second.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I want to ask Dan Emmons, how did he get that number?
Which
Unless
number?
Brendan has it as well.
Oh, he just
Did they
posted
update
it.
on Financial Juice, Brendo? Because
It's 400.
yeah,
now.
he's going to check it because oh yeah, Brendan had that number. My bad.
Oh, I
Okay,
didn't see
good.
it either.
I didn't see that from Brendan. That's my bad. So Dan just updated it 437 to sell.
And it was
So
nothing
sorry,
before.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just thinking like I'm short now, you're short, and I was thinking like if we didn't get that update.
Well, here's Tesla again.
Yeah, so good. So that's good. Meta just dropped into the 70s, by the way, giving us $1 winner. So $1.30 winner. Sorry, I didn't mean. I meant to interrupt, but it wasn't about that. Thanks, Dan, for that.
It was more.
We're both short, so
we're
it's
both
like-
short, and it matters because it was a nothing burger, to be sure. I mean, all I was getting at is like, in order for like Google to be like default browser everywhere, like, you know, they're basically. I mean, there's like 30. I think it's like 30. They get paid a year or something like that to make sure that they keep that dominance. So any kind of a move over, like this basically is going to give more leverage to people like Apple to approach Google and say, why aren't we getting a better deal? Because Bing is going to be way better, or Safari is going to be way better. The whole point of defaulting to Google is that their search is going to be the best one. And if that's no longer the case, then they're going to lose a little bit of leverage when it comes to that. Now, I think that presents an opportunity for Alphabet because everybody is going to win. All the stuff they're talking about now for AI is all like the base, like level 1 of like 1,000 kind of stuff. Like the real implications are going to be much bigger than just search, you know, and talking to somebody. It's just the way bigger implications for it. And so we're kind of overthinking a lot of this unless you're talking about NVIDIA. Back to the markets because we have 2 minutes till the imbalances actually come out. When I saw the sell imbalance, I decided to go back and add 160s with that stop at the high of the day. So I did get 159.30s on Tesla. I'm going right back to the well. If it takes out the top, I'm out. We'll deal with that. I'm not reloading on Square because risk to reward, it's not at a zone that makes any sense to do so. So I'm just going to hold on till VWAP. It's like 60-20s. Or if we kind of break this consolidation at 60-80, that'll be, you know, put 25 pennies to 30 cents in the money, depending on slippage. So those are the two last positions. I'm not putting a new one on there, guys. We'll see what happens at the end of the day, but it does feel like that sell imbalance, if it's more than 400, if that's a Billy, maybe we have topped out.
A Billy.
Well, sometimes, look, it went from flat to 400. Usually when it's growing in a direction, that tends to mean something. It used to at least. Maybe it does again here today.
Yep, for sure. Looks like NVIDIA means something here as it's trying to blast upside as well, breaking some of these highs right now, 272.30. So we're going to give it to 272.50, but it doesn't look like that's going to work out too much for us here. Oops, that's Meta. Sorry. Meta's to the downside, that's for sure. But what isn't to the downside is this. There it is. There's the 272 break. We said we'd give it a little bit more room, but I don't like to be in these things into the imbalances. So we do have an aggressive order to get out if it does break 272.50, which looks like it is going to happen right
here
now
comes
again
I.
for NVIDIA. So yeah, man, there goes the market. Again, look at the market. We only have a minute till imbalances, but you know, the next time we get like huge days, we're just going to watch this 50 period. That's what we're going to do. Not try to pick tops or bottoms, right? Well, no, we're definitely not picking bottoms, but tops in this market. So there it is, man. The minute left until imbalances come out. Let's just see where we go on this one. We have a nice trade obviously happening for Meta as that's $1 plus in the money right now. And the NVIDIA trade is really what's got me all bothered here, but it's only 30 seconds until that imbalance comes out. So I think we'll take advantage of this Meta. We're $1 in the money. There we go. We just take an 05 fill. So we get that fill right there almost instantly when we put it out. Let's see what happens here into the close. Meta's going to try to fall. We only have now 20 seconds until that imbalance comes out. My eyes are just going to be on NVIDIA.
Yeah, thank you very much. Donnie Zimbabwe, I thank you for the super chat. I didn't see it, that video, so I don't. If you send it to me, DM me on Twitter. I didn't actually see it, but we'll get it out in a second. Imbalances are coming. Tesla's running the high, so obviously that's going to be a bit of cause for concern. It is at that top. It just wicked it. I never put a stop to the penny, but suffice to say, it missed me by like 2 cents. It almost stopped out that high. It was very, very close. So the imbalances are now out. I see Visa as a sell, 1 million, nothing big. Palantir, 600,000 to sell. Yeah, that's not a very big sell imbalance. I mean, Pfizer's a small buy.
It's a buy after all that.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not waiting for the top. Let's just get it. I'll hold Square because that's okay, but there's nothing big. Amazon, small buy, 370,000 there. I'm waiting for a big tech name. Intel, small sell, 350,000. That's nothing. Intel do a milli, no problem. Tesla was a buy imbalance. Okay, that's why it probably spiked on me there. 300,000 is not bad for Tesla. Again, nothing terribly significant when it comes to the imbalances. Even that Visa number, Visa, a million imbalance on a $230 stock is significant. However, Visa's imbalances are never significant. They always pair off. It never really tends to move the stock that much. You can almost guarantee that this one pairs off. And this is something that's been observed by traders on our floor for a long time, that this one never really sticks around, and it's not even moving, like just kind of inside of a range there. So I punched out of Tesla. I'll show you guys very quickly. I did trim, at least I trimmed something, was able to get some out, and then we punched out, so I'll be dead flat on Tesla actually. Literally flat on Tesla. Probably some of it had to do with taking the profits and getting out flat where we did, because it eventually ran the stop at the high of the day. I'll still be in block, as that one looks like it's going to roll over. I did tighten up my stop. I'll probably have to get out, not thinking we'll get to 640. The market's not really flushing here, so I'll just get something out at the 40 level if I can, and I'll have to punch out probably at 355 if I don't see any more movement to the downside. This was the only thing that wasn't running highs and made some sense to short. And it's only flat on the day, so Square not having a great day compared to the market. I'll put that note for myself tomorrow morning that, hey, Square is relatively weak. If I have to force something, which you don't, at least I can look at Square.
Yeah, never force anything, that is for sure.
Unless you got the force.
Yeah, if you have the force, then use it on the stocks that you're in. But there it is right there. Meta, obviously, getting the flush, so there's a nice little move to the downside for Meta. NVIDIA took out the top, but our stop was right there, so not too much to worry about. But yeah, Meta definitely, man. Look at that, flush to the downside right now. I don't know if there must have been a Meta imbalance. It was nothing significant. Like when you don't have imbalances like 500,000 shares, I don't really take too much consideration into that. But there's Meta. Maybe we do see 237. It just dropped $1, so maybe we do get that coming through one more time for Meta, as there's the drop down spot. So yeah, good. We talked about where we could expect Meta to come into. This is exactly what I said, 238.50, 238.25, so you're right there right now. So that one worked, but it had to take until the end of the day before Meta finally flushed. So there it is, man, a couple good shorts right there. That worked for us. You know, sometimes you get lucky, and I think that was a pretty good one there for Meta, but you know, the luck wasn't with me today, that's for sure, as some of the names just kept on going until they didn't. And Apple's one of those names as well, man. We talked about it. We have long written on here, yet I lost everything short.
Tesla's
so,
flying. Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla's
No, sorry, I meant NVIDIA.
NVIDIA's flying.
I meant Intel, too.
Intel, NVIDIA.
Everything I'm looking at is flying up, but Intel's up 3% now.
Even Amazon all the way back to 110 as well. So we'll see if Amazon can do anything. They're coming after hours as we wait to see what Amazon is doing. So yeah, Meta right now. Meta's trying to go down even lower, man. We're $1.80. $1.80 now in the money. I mean, the amount of per dollars that we've taken on Meta has been absolutely crazy. But it just bounced off 238 clean. Let me put a bid there.
Yeah, this is wild. So we get these guys after the bell. I didn't even check the implied move on Intel, because usually it's not always that crazy. Although one time it did have last time it actually was 10%, I think, one of the last 2 quarters anyways. So big mover potential at least, and it's already at that height, got to 30. All I can say is I'm really glad I decided not to short in this consolidation. Sometimes the best trade is no trade, because quite frankly, I was not going to go long. If I was going to trade Intel, I wasn't going to go long here. I was going to go short. If I did it, I was going to short it, and I'd just be losing again. So sometimes you have to sit on your hands. I don't really have any thoughts on U.S. Steel. That was a play. So I did trade this in my own account back in the pandemic bottoms. So I was in and out of it several times, and I played some on the way back in, but I haven't really touched it in a very long time. I was basically working off like the 15s and 20 levels. You had to go too far back. But U.S. Steel, oh goodness, that's not very good. Yeah, breaking, it just rejected the 50. It just broke the 200 period moving average. People are saying we're going into recession if we're not already in it. Just got a bad GDP number. That's not a good spot for it. It doesn't usually have a sizable short interest. So if it moves down enough, there can be a squeeze play on it the next day. Like if we're to get to $20 or something on a god-awful report, I think I'd at least be thinking about a rubber band bounce long, just given the fact that it's usually pretty decent short, but I haven't checked that in a while. It's 355. That is time for me to maybe get out of square. I mean, it's not really doing anything. It's worked, and it's never been trouble, but it's kind of running into a zone where it doesn't want to go any lower. It's not breaking out. If I can get to 50, let's try for I was trying for 40s. I was trying for 20s. That's just me moving my bids up. The last 5 minutes are when you try to get out of these things. We have to be flat at the end of the day. Yep. No positions on. This is the only one that was kind of really easy. I want to say not easy, but I wasn't really fighting it too much. You know, it gave me, all I wanted was the patented, take some fills under 61, get the money fill over. I wasn't looking at it till it made this high, so I took one under fill, scalp out, then take the over under, and then only get out underneath that 60-80 level, which has worked. It just hasn't retraced to VWAP. If the market wasn't so strong, this would have made 60s, obviously, but it didn't because the market's an absolute beast, right? So a win's a win, but the longs have been better. And top, 4 minutes to go. You've got to be kidding me. It is halted at 1979, the year of my birth.
There we go.
So if you bet the over,
Congratulations!
let's go to Brendan for earnings.
All right, let's make it official here, guys, for tonight. We've discussed this in depth already, but there are a few other names to have a look at as well as far as earnings are concerned.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we didn't look at this morning, did we?
Meta.
What, after the close, Meta?
Yeah,
January
Meta.
Earnings previews for January 31st and February 1st. So we already have these.
That is incorrect.
This is just the
However,
wrong board, but we do have a big earnings.
However, Meta is correct. Yeah, however, Meta is correct on that one, so that's fine. And we know
no,
it's not Meta,
reported,
Meta.
bro.
Amazon. What am I talking about? Meta. Amazon in my brain, man. It's Amazon Intel.
Yes.
Amazon Intel.
Yes.
There we go. Exxon, Chevron.
There we go.
Snapchat. That's one to watch.
Yes, we forgot about that today. Wow.
Snapchat's one to watch. Pinterest.
Yep.
Has never stopped moving.
ATVI would be interesting, but
I think ATVI will be interesting. I really do, because now that the deal has a lower probability of going through, suddenly earnings and metrics are going to matter for ATVI more than they did in the past. You have to start thinking about not just the $95 you could get, but what is the actual valuation on the stock. And a lot of people are having to reset that after it got hua-dooned. I think this one does matter. Like I'm not saying I'm guaranteed going to trade it, but if they have a blowout earnings, let's just say, and they just across the board beat this. Before the gap down, like this was previous support at 72. It was sitting at 65 when the deal got done. The market's been booming to the upside and recovering. Let's just say, like, this could be a decent opportunity to trade it on the long side if it catches a bit of a bid, because you might have some people that are still unwinding it, sort of caught off guard when the deal got, quadrupled by the UK, which doesn't mean it's done. The probability is just way lower. You're going to see that 95. It's not over yet for them. They are actually appealing to the UK.
I have some bad news for you.
I don't want bad news.
Activision Blizzard reported 2 days ago.
No, they didn't.
This is what people in the chat are saying, and this is what Trade Ideas is saying. But your points are still valid anyways. I mean, it is a quadunking name based on, it has nothing to do with what you said is facts. It's just,
it is facts,
we
but it
wait until we get approval or not for that deal. So that's okay.
Because what that tells me is, because I don't track ATVI from any kind of a real basis. Like it's not a stock I follow, it's not a stock I own, so it's not one I would even bother to care to know that, because I was only ever trading it as a buyout.
Miss Cat will be on the bell.
I trade buyouts. However, this does mean that, quite frankly,
30 seconds.
This stock could be set for more. You know that.
I saw her shaking her head as like, yep, I'm there. I'm coming.
She's ready. She's right behind us. We don't have to call for her in the other room.
You're working so hard. Like, you don't even know what time it is.
So my bid is on the bid right now, but I'm just going to punch out because, quite frankly, we're at the end of the day. There's no point. I'm crossing the spread just so I can get out of square. And we'll go to Kat, who is stretching so that she can be nimble for her belly.
You have to be. All right, here we go with only 10 seconds left, and we just got out of Meta. We took a $2 winner on that one, so that was good to end the day. Here we go, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Can you see that countdown where you're standing there? Okay, good. Okay,
so we don't have to say
count
it
it down.
I thought we had to tell her the
I don't know
countdown.
if you can see it there, so that's
I've rung the bell and I didn't see any countdown. I had to be told what it was.
All right. Well, now If you don't know,
Now you know.
you know. So, all right, yeah. All right, good way to end the day there on that meta short at 240. It does not. Actually, it had a 237 handle on it, and it went down to 237.80 right there off the jump. So we'll wait to see if Intel comes through soon. It's back up to $30, so good move in the end of the day for Intel. Intel up 3% against an AMD, which was. What did AMD wind up doing? Up a little bit, and NVIDIA up a little bit as well, up 1%. So, all right.
Nothing
you can see, here's me shorting NVIDIA. But anyways, okay, so yeah, what a violent day if you're short. Thank you. I know all about that one. So let's go over to the big one. Thank you, Adam, and thank you, everybody, as well, for your kind words as we await Amazon. Sharif told us that Amazon was coming out at 01.
It must be out.
There it is, 1:30. What did we tell you about Amazon right there? Someone asked for my opinion. I talked about it. I gave a 120 or so target. There goes Amazon off to the races. Look at the NASDAQ also extending higher right there. There goes Amazon. It's live. We are live. There's Amazon. Up, and away. I guess my long at 106 earlier in the day would be good. It's 118, 119, 120. There's that 120. I mean, anybody talking about levels, there it is right there on Amazon, coming right into play right now. Amazon up a paltry 14%, and looks like it wants to get higher and higher and higher. So what's up, Brendo?
Just listening to this forward guidance just coming across right now, so watch that. Quickly, here's how things wrapped up here, guys. 2.7, 2.4. It's really all you need to know. It was all about tech all day long. Almost got to 2 there for S&P as well. But let's go back over to Amazon.
I mean, net sales beat. Operating income was 4.8 versus 3. That's significantly higher.
We talked about, I mean, the move that could possibly have come in there, and there it is right
the
there.
NASDAQ's over 3% up now on that alone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the NASDAQ is absolutely flying right now, and this just means good things for everybody. Wait till you see that number probably from Cloud.
Offer?
You're going to see what AWS is all about right now. And no surprise where it is right there. Look at the level. See ya. There goes 121 for Amazon, and it's still, there goes 120 up to 121. Whether or not it takes it out or not, I'm not certain, but there it goes right there. We talked about where we were going to go. I said you could go into that 120. I mean, I wish I was as smart on these plays today than I was shorting everything else. Right there, 120 for Amazon. What a great day for that name. If I go short Amazon tomorrow, let's just wait to see what happens. I'm not going to make a call on anything right now, but there it goes. Wow, great trade, man.
Someone sold over 100,000 shares on a single order, on a single gateway at 120 just now.
Let's check it. Yeah, I mean, that person might be long.
No, there's no way somebody shorts that much into an earnings number.
Short?
That's
No,
a
they're
long.
long.
That's a long. That's somebody getting out of a long. So bank there, Bank City.
Or covering some. They might have to cover tomorrow. Maybe they have options.
There's another 100,000 at 122.
And Intel is blah, 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 blah.
Oh my God, top?
As
No
well. Intel up to $31 right now. So, yes, sir. I told you I'm long at 27 on this name. I will be cashing some out tomorrow if it stays up here. I don't know the Intel numbers, but it looks like we're blasting here. So, okay, wow, what a great day there. I feel like we just want to really look at Amazon as there it is, 122 now. Ooh, wee doggy, man.
By the way, top hit 38.
Although having a shit day, I mean, I'm pretty happy. I mean, I know that I'm long Amazon, and it's been obviously a wild ride here for shareholders, but there it is up to 122 right now and still motoring. But all right, Brendo, if there's anything you want to talk about quickly before we wrap this up?
Just reading through that Amazon note, guys, it was the range. So the forecast range was slightly lower. That was it. Everything else was a beat right across the board. Intel, on the other hand, not so much. It was a loss, but smaller, it looks like, for Intel.
Okay, Snapchat does not look like it's out yet for those of you guys that are asking. Snapchat had a wick up, but then now doing nothing. Wow.
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 Yes, I don't know what else to say. Amazon's 122.50. Okay, what a big day. Wow, and it looks like tomorrow's going to be even bigger than this day today, possibly, as everything, you stay bull, man. You stay bull for a damn well
I don't
while.
want to knock this guy over. This guy should be wearing shades right now.
I mean, the NASDAQ is up to that 13.3 again where we stopped before.
I have one line in my chart to the upside on the NASDAQ. It is at that 13.3.
Just saying. And I don't mind losing on a day like when the NASDAQ takes out the highs and I'm short in front of it. There's not much you could do on that one. But hey, everybody, have a great NFL draft day.
Ooh.
I think it goes, well, apparently it's confirmed, Bryce Young.
100%.
And then I think Will Anderson goes number 2. Then I think Arizona, if it's all about trading.
Trade.
Yeah, so Houston holds the keys of the whole draft.
Yeah.
Because whatever they do at 2, I think trickles down, right? If it goes quarterback number 2, then I think someone makes the move to 4 and grabs one that's left. I don't know if Will Levis is going to go where everyone thinks he's going to go, top 2 possibly. And then I think I like Jalen Carter to Arizona because that guy's an absolute monster.
Only if they trade back. I don't think.
No, at 3.
You think they take him at 3?
Yes, I think
he's the best.
defensive
He's the
player.
best. He's the best player in the draft.
Right. So how
He's
do you
the
turn
best-
that down when you have Kyler Murray?
Well, because he's in trouble.
Kyler Murray's hurt until June.
But because he's in trouble. Like that's.
No, I know. But
yeah.
what? You know Micah Parsons? You ever heard of that guy before?
I know.
Yeah, so that guy had problems in high school as well, and now he's probably one of the best defensive players in the league. And then I think at number 4, I wonder where Richardson will go, and then Stroud, and then I think it starts to go there because
I can't see Indy passing on Stroud.
Right.
I don't see it.
Or Richardson, and they just take a minute to develop him.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
I don't know. We'll see what happens on that one. But also, go Leafs, go! As we get ready for that one, can
Sports
we get
Night Thursday.
the demon off our back? Brendan, myself, going
we
to
put-
the Hockey
put
Hall
this
of
guy
Fame
back here?
for a charitable event tonight, and we'll be taking some pictures, so stay tuned for that as Trader TV Live spreads our wings. Okay, it's 4:07, maybe the longest we've ever been on,
It's
but
true.
Fahad's not here telling us to be quiet, so as we go, man, go Leafs, go NFL draft for if hopefully your team makes the right decision, and Brendan is like, nah. He's well
he doesn't
focused
care.
on the market, which is great for that. You're not about the NFL draft at all, Brendo. I would imagine.
Probably not, no.
Right. But Leafs, go Leafs.
But
go.
that's okay. But
We'll have fun tonight. We'll have a few
Leafs.
pops, and we'll enjoy ourselves and enjoy the game as well, Neil. And for everybody here at Trader TV Live, Brendan, Neil, I'm Sean. Thanks to Mahad, man. That guy,
All day.
great job today,
Planted.
man. Exactly. He's planted in that spot, right? Shout out to Prad. Prad was on the 1s and 2s as well today, so shout out to him for all of that and everybody working. Thanks to Kat working
player.
really hard behind us. But hey, it's 4:07. We got places to be that aren't here. So we'll see you tomorrow at 8:30. Congrats to Amazon.